Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Right on this great big, huge, monstrous baseball diamond we call Earth. Big series starts today. The playoffs continue for the Houston Astros. For those of you who say the playoffs haven't started yet, then you have no idea about what's going on this season. The Astros playoffs started last series when they faced the Texas Strangers. Now they continue that series with the Seattle Submariners. Basically, these are must-win games if the Astros want to not only be in the playoffs but do well. They're really going to have to perform in this series the way they performed in the last series. They're going to have to keep going just as strong as they have been. Keep the pedal to the metal, so to speak. Astros swept the Rangers, which was great. Absolutely wonderful. Game 3 was the most impressive to me because of one main reason, and that was the discipline at the plate. Basically, the Astros, the way that they played was pretty amazing. They took a lot of pitches and had a lot of discipline. They weren't swinging at stuff so much off the plate. They were making him pitch it in the strike zone, and then they were hitting it, especially at the most opportune times, at the most important times when they had guys on base. They were bringing them in. So the quality of at bats yesterday far outmatched the amount of hits. They didn't have many hits actually in the game, and they didn't have a huge amount of runs, but the runs that they had were really good. And when I say a huge amount, they didn't have like 9 or 10 or something like that, but the runs that they did have was above average. And when you compare it to the amount of hits that they had, and then you look at the opportunities they had to drive people in, they performed really well in those categories. And so I hope that the Astros have been making those systemic changes that I've been talking about that they've needed to make. Because without those changes, they won't be able to do anything consistently at the plate. One second, I need to grab something. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I am back. I don't know if you heard this or not today, but Isaac Paredes is back with the Stros. They have brought him back from his recovery. He never did a rehab assignment. He went to Florida and did some rehab, but they never sent him to the minors for rehab assignments. Brian Wu is going to be on the mound for the Submariners today. Hunter Brown for the Astros. Isaac Paredes is batting third. Right now, Yordan Alvarez is not in the lineup, not today. For those of you who are wondering why, once again, pay attention, man. And he's batting third. Paredes is batting third, actually. Kind of surprised about that. If he's going to be taking a lot of pitches, it'd be nice to get him in there a little earlier. I understand having Pena leading off, but Paredes could be second as far as I'm concerned. Why would you put Yordan second but not Paredes? I don't quite get that, but whatever. Let's take a quick look at the chat because I've got a lot of comments here. Daryl, you're quite busy today. Slamuel says this game and series is playoff level. It's so important. You're absolutely right. That's what I was just saying earlier. Correct? Daryl says every game is important now if they want to make the playoffs. Yeah, every game is important. This series is even more important simply because it's like a 2-for-1 special. Every game that you win, you need the Submariners to lose, right? But when you play the Submariners directly, it's like a 2-for-1 special. If you're able to pull it out, then they lose while you're winning. We definitely need to own Seattle. Play like do or die, but don't press. Yeah, we need good pitching and we need disciplined batting. These are the main things. Make sure my desktop audio is off. Okay. Yep. Let's bring all the lobsters home tonight. Everything that we bring into the boat, we need to bring home at least half of those. If we catch 10 lobsters, we need to bring 5 of them back home. If we catch 20, we need to have 10. It's as simple as that. The math is very simple. Hey, Gregory, welcome in. Good to see you. Daniel Berry, happy Saturday to you from Hiroshima. Venturecast, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. You must have been busy. Cast made it back to Houston in time for the big series this weekend. Don't know if it'll bring some luck or not. Let's break out those brooms again. Yeah, absolutely. I want to see those brooms again. For sure I do. For sure I do. It looks like my game preview. My game preview is a little off. I wonder why that is. I'm going to try to... Okay, that seems to be a little better. Okay. That's a little better. All right. But it's a really big game today. Really big game today. And been working on a couple of other things. I actually spent almost 2 hours working on my microphone because I got this new microphone and I wanted to make sure that the sound was pretty good for today. So I went ahead and did a little bit of extra tweaking on it to make sure it was all good. As far as I can tell, it sounds pretty good. It's now set up to where if I get really loud, it will clip it. It might sound a little distorted, but it won't go, the levels won't go through the roof. And also, if I'm speaking below a certain level, it only picks up sounds within a certain range, and it will only allow those sounds to go up to a certain range. So it should be a better listening experience for all of you out there. So thank you for bearing with me as my equipment slowly improves. I do appreciate that. 45 people watching right now. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get some likes on the live stream. We really need to jack up the amount of people watching so we can build a little bit of strength for our Astros community, especially for this series. We've got 23 likes, barely, almost at half of the viewers. So let's go and jack that up if you don't mind. Thank you in advance for liking the video. Seems that I've got a little bit of congestion, so I'm going to have to pause to mute the microphone occasionally and clear my throat. Having a nice cup of hot black coffee this morning. Are you guys and gals drinking anything? I appreciate that, Daryl. I have not heard your voice, but I'm sure your voice is just fine too. Nice and fine. Oh, yeah. Hunter Brown will be on the mound in just a few moments. He's heading out there right now to do his job, to do his duty. And I'm not talking about number 2. I don't have a Los Astros uniform, but I believe it is Hispanic Heritage Month. And this weekend, they are doing a lot of things that are connected to that. Part of that includes them wearing the Los Astros jerseys. Game 1, baby, at Daikin Park. 1 of 3. The Astros and the Mariners. Couldn't have been scripted better than this. Tied at 84 and 69. Completely tied up for first place. And of course, this series decides not just the leader of the division, but the leader of the season series. They're showing a little bit of highlights. 5 years ago when the Astros won the division series against the Mariners, then 2022 when they clinched against the Mariners. Last year's clinching against the Mariners after coming 10 games back. I'm sure that there's a lot of hostility between, or at least love lost between the Mariners fans and the Houston Astros. You know what I'm saying? I can't say I blame them. They're in the same boat, I guess you could say, as the Yankees. If they continually get knocked out of contention year after year because of the Astros, you know, they can't help but have some repressed anger. Some of them not so repressed. But I will say this. The Astros foes, I guess you could say, those like the Yankees and the Mariners in particular, And of course, even some out of division rivals, out of league rivals like the Dodgers. The Dodgers don't see the Astros necessarily as rivals, but you know that in their heart they know that they are. It's different with the Yankees because you know the Dodgers sometimes can beat the Astros. The Astros haven't completely owned them. In recent years, they've owned them more and more, but historically, it was Dodgers over Astros for a long time, and then the Astros started owning them. But now teams and markets like the Dodgers, they are scared of the Astros. They are really, really not wanting. They don't want to see the Astros. They want to beat the Astros, but they really don't want to see the Astros. If they had a choice of playing the Mariners or playing the Astros in the playoffs, you know they're going to pick the Mariners. Same thing with the Yankees. Now, the Yankees fans would like to beat the Astros in the playoffs. That would be so fulfilling for them. But if the fans are honest and they can pick who would you rather play in the playoffs, the Mariners or the Astros, they're going to pick the Mariners. Why would they pick somebody that they know that continually beats them? Why would they do that? Jesse wants to know, how was the Mariners' performance in Houston from last time? Are you talking about the last series in Houston? Are you talking about the last playoff time? Which time are you talking about? Detroit losing 6-1. That's good to hear. Thank you for the update, Jesse. Astros getting closer and closer to moving up, bypassing that wild card game. We sweep this series. It's a shoe-in, I think. Just need to keep it locked down. VentureCast is having a cold Miller Lite. I sure would like to have a nice cold beer. Gregory's drinking a glass of cola on ice and eating dinner. Prodigy says the Mariner mascot in the cartoon looks like Al Pacino. That's funny. Isaac Paredes, the man. Gregory's calling his home runs tonight, Altuve and Walker. That'd be a back-to-back, right? Back-to-back games for Altuve. It would definitely break Walker out of a slump. If he's got some thump and gets out of the slump, then he'll get over the hump. Maybe. They're showing some highlights right now of Mr. Isaac Paredes getting some thump on. Ron says a good day to you all, or to y'all. Ready for another win tonight? Thank you, Geaux Stros, for being here. Thank you for being here, Ron. I was really looking forward to this. Yesterday was a day off for me. My plan was to do a lot of cleaning and do some work around the house. I need to insulate the floorboards because winter is coming. Winter is coming. And you guys have no idea how cold around here it gets. I'm sure that for some of you, it gets even colder. But the difference is that I'm sure your house is probably insulated to a certain degree. And you have heaters and air conditioning. But this house is about 200 years old. And it was never built with any type of, it doesn't have walls. It has sliding doors, and the sliding doors are about this thick. So basically about 1.5 inches thick. And you can close the sliding doors, but it doesn't provide much protection as far as insulation is concerned. It just kind of blocks the wind. The floorboards have no insulation underneath or on top. It's just bare wooden floors with cracks in between them. You can actually look through the cracks and see the ground. And the house is about 2 feet off the ground. The cold wind comes underneath it. You can actually literally feel the cold wind flowing through the house. It's true. And there's no air conditioner here. No insulation, none of that. So what I'm trying to do is set up a couple of my rooms in there to seal off the floor. Right now I'm putting down some plastic to act as kind of a vapor barrier. Then I'm going to put down some air bubble wrap to create that extra air barrier, extra space. Then I'm going to put down some aluminum reflective foil. And then on top of that, I have a carpet. And then on top of the carpet, I have some space rugs and some electric carpets. Make that room as nice and cozy as possible. And I'll be moving in there. And then I'm going to start doing some work in here under the house, some foundation work. Try to get it nice and straightened out. Fix the supports. Let's take a look at the Astros lineup overall. Jeremy Pena is leading it off today. At shortstop, number 2, batting number 2, Carlos Correa, at third base. Isaac Paredes is the DH today. He's batting third. Altuve's cleanup today, batting fourth. And at second base, Zach King Cole's batting fifth. They moved him way up. Getting serious today. It's crunch time. They're expecting big things out of him. He's in right field. Christian Walker is batting sixth. He's at first base, of course. Yanner Diaz is catching today, batting seventh. So they put Walker and Diaz together again instead of breaking them up. They moved Sanchez to eighth. I think they could have put Sanchez or Myers in between Walker and Diaz. But instead, they move him down to 8 and 9. Myers is batting ninth. Can you believe that? Jake Myers batting ninth in this lineup. Why is Diaz batting seventh and Myers and Sanchez batting eighth and ninth? I don't understand that. Randy Arozarena is the first batter for the Mariners. Cal Raleigh on deck. He's having a historic year. Let's see if the Astros can shut him down. I'm wondering if he's on the roids. Is he on the roids? I have to wonder. Hey, look at that. VentureCast. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's the way to start it off before the game even starts. Gifting some memberships. Thank you so much, sir. That is freaking awesome. VentureCast comes back from abroad from his world travels just in time for this awesome series and drops some gifts. Make sure you guys say thank you. Please tell VentureCast thank you for that. For those of you who have the memberships, you can use the emojis. For example, the Geaux Stros emoji. Hunter Brown is on the mound. Arozarena at the plate. We're ready to start this series. Let's go. Strike one, 96 miles an hour, right in the top of the zone. O genki desu ka? Hai, o genki desu yo. How about you? Oh and 1. Here's the toss. 97 right in there and fouled off down the first base line. Harmlessly. 0 and 2 is the count. Arozarena steps out of the box for a moment. Hey, Brendan, good to see you. Welcome in. Hey, Sergio. Oh, yeah, you're the one that said, "O genki desu ka?" Watashi wa Sergio. I see that. I see that you're Sergio. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Hajimemashite. It's nice to meet you. Please treat me well. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the toss. 1 and 2. Swing and a miss. Nice. Hunter Brown slows him way down. He goes from about 96 miles an hour all the way down to 85 with a slow knuckle curve. Arozarena, it goes right in the zone and then drops below the zone. It's a thing of beauty. 1 down. It looks to me like the stadium is pretty full. It's not completely packed right now. You can see in the background there some empty seats. but they might trickle in. You know, it's only the first inning. Some people come in a little late for some silly reason. Here's the first pitch to Cal Raleigh. 97 on the outside edge. Foul tip into the glove of Diaz. Strike one. Astros Ichiban desu. So desu ne. Houston Astros wa Ichiban desu ne. They are number one. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Raleigh. Swing and a miss. 97 on the outside. Didn't get the bat on at that time. 0-2. To SoCal. The line says, got him. Don't look at Myers' OPS since return. Well, his OPS, not too big. He never really has much of an OPS, but, you know, still want him in there. 97 on the outside. He gets the bat on that one, fouls it off. It stays 0-2. No reason to be nervous, Brendan. We got Hunter Brown on the mound. It doesn't matter. Just get it done. Why be nervous? Let's see here. Thank you for hitting the like button, Mr. Lane, McMore Lane. I appreciate that. Here's the 0-2 toss. 93 miles an hour on the cutter, outside edge, fouls it back, count stays 0-2. Sergio says, I like your show. I'm Mexican and live in Houston. All right. Vamos Astros. One of these days, I'll get back over there to Houston. I'd like to take a vacation and spend some time there. It'd be nice. It sure would be nice. My dream would be to have some kind of box and do some live streams from the actual park. Because I want to go to the games, but I don't want to miss my live stream. How awesome would it be to actually be watching the game live and to be able to tell you based on seeing the game live? That's grounded to the right side. Altuve grabs it and he throws it to Walker. Raleigh goes down. Out number one. I'm sorry, out number two. 2 up and 2 down. Pitch the heat, Darryl says. Brown's mixing it up. No changeup so far. Just fastball, a knuckle curve. Hey, Mark, thank you so much. Mark puts in a super chat, the first super chat of the day. Geaux Stros and let's make the hot dog video from Cafe Gusto. Oh my gosh. I didn't think you'd ever do it, Mark. I didn't think you'd ever do it. 1 ball, no strikes to Julio Rodriguez, who's at the plate right now. Batting .269 for the season, but only .216 versus Houston. Here's the toss. Low and outside, 2-0. Mark, I'll say thank you for the yummy hot dog. Yummy in quotes. That's ball drilled to left field. It's 1-0. Cal Raleigh doesn't hit a homer, but Julio Rodriguez does. On the 2-0 count, he blasts one into left field. Hunter Brown gives up a solo shot. A sinker down and in. That was not a bad pitch. We're going to take another look at it in just a moment, but with 2 outs, Rodriguez gets it. Look at that. That was way inside. 96, way inside and low, and he just went down and clobbered it out to left field. And they got to do their silly trident. I'm sure it's made of plastic. It's got to be made of plastic. Josh Naylor at the plate. He fouls it back. A high fastball in the top of the zone. You see my girlfriend sitting next to me? Really? Where is she? I don't see her. It's funny you say that, Gregory, because my last girlfriend, she messaged me in the middle of the night. I didn't see it until this morning. She and I haven't talked in over a month. Sergio, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. I will say arigato and gracias. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Here comes the next pitch. Naylor goes after. It's in the dirt. Naylor gets 3 straight pitches for strikes. And that's a second strikeout. Hunter Brown and Diaz are discussing that homer, no doubt. Why did you throw that pitch? Well, it was a good pitch. Yeah, you're right. It was a good pitch. But he hit it out anyway. Guys, that sinker, that 96-mile-per-hour sinker that was low and inside, it was at least 3 inches. I'm sorry about that. It was at least 3 inches inside, out of the zone. It was one of those strike pitches. You know, you swing and miss, or at the best, you foul it off. But it was all the way down and a few inches out inside. And still, Rodriguez was able to crank it out. Not a bad pitch, just good hitting. Just a matter of luck. A little bit of skill, a little bit of luck, and it's 1-0 on one hit. The Submariners have the lead, but nobody was on base, so that's the good news. Brian Wu will be on the mound for the Subs in just a moment. Jeremy Pena at the plate. Carlos Correa, and welcome back, Isaac Paredes. He'll be up in just a few moments. Keep your fingers crossed. All right. Gregory says she has pink hair and wearing the Stros jersey and cap. Oh, I see. I see. I gotcha. Yeah, that's right. That's right. The girl on the screen. That's correct. The girl on the screen. Jeremy Pena is at the plate. Here's the first pitch from Wu outside. Good take. 96-mile-per-hour fastball. Vamos, Los Astros. Let's take that run back and add another one, or 2 or 3 or 4. 97 right on the outside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nightbot's message is too long. Stop spamming. I like the message, Nightbot, but it's a little long. Payne hits that one pretty hard to left field, but it's going to float. It's going to turn into a floater. Put away, no problem. I think that one kind of went out and up and then floated and then came straight down. Started off looking nice. Wound up dying like a duck. One down. Sergio, your Nihongo Jozu desu. Do itashimashite, he says. 98 on the outside edge. Correa is at the plate. 0-1 is the count. Yeah, Shake says it's way too early to be celebrating. That's for sure. Definitely don't need to be celebrating. Let's lock it down and then celebrate. 98 on the outside edge again. 0-2. 2 fastballs straight in there on the outside edge. Good tosses. Correa just standing there. Let's hope this is opposite world for Correa today, where he swings at the strike in the zone on the 0-2 count. Good take. Slider low and outside. 1-2. Probably from the dollar store. The dollar store? Here comes the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Correa goes after that Swiffer. It starts off in the middle of the plate and goes way outside. Correa chases it. Speaking of chasing, here comes Mr. Anti-Chase. Isaac Paredes. Welcome back. He gets a little return ovation from the crowd. The fast turtle has now the not so fast fast turtle. The slow fast turtle. Here comes the first pitch. 98 right in there. I think if you're Brian Wu, the only choice you have with Paredes is to go after him, you know? Can't really pitch around the zone so much. Here comes the 9th pitch of the game from Mr. Wu. The 0-1 count. High and outside, 1-1. Michael says, howdy, folks. Just got home from work. Dang it, we had to spot them one just to make it fair. Yep, that's true. Got to bend a little bit, you know, like bamboo. Don't want to break. Here's the 1-1. Oof, 97 on the outside edge. Wu is riding that outside edge with the fastball. The Astros need to pay attention to that. 97 and a couple of 98s. Consistently throwing fastballs on that outside edge. They need to make an adjustment to that pretty quick. If he's doing it a lot, they need to be expecting it. You know what I'm saying? Arriba. Arriba. Here's the 1-2. Low and outside in the dirt on the Swiffer. 2-2 is the count. Yeah, Michael says if we can win this series, it will make everything back right in the world. Altuve on deck. 2 outs, nobody on. Here in the bottom of the first, the Astros trying to even the score. It's 1-0. Here is the 2-2 count to Paredes. Oof. 97 mile per hour. High fastball just above the zone. He went after it. And he strikes out. That's going to be it for the Stros. In the bottom of the second, nothing doing. Brian Wu looking really, really good for the Mariners in the first inning. Slightly better than Brown. Brown giving up the solo homer, but getting 2 strikeouts. That's kind of bipolar, isn't it? Strike out 2 guys, give up a solo homer. Wu has himself a couple of strikeouts to go along with that. We go to the top of the second, 1-0 with 1 hit on the board for the Submariners. Jorge Polanco is due up, followed by Eugenio Suarez and Dominic Canzone. Canzone. Hey, so the Rockies are winning? 2-0? Wow, yeah, get on them early. Why not? Well, Brendan, obviously they're letting him run. Otherwise, he wouldn't be batting. But Joe Espada did say that he told Paredes not to overdo it. You know, don't try to go all out. You know, if you hit the ball, you just take it easy. But as some other people were discussing recently, that's not always easy when you're an athlete and you're in the game and you know that you can only run maybe like at 50 to 60% speed. And you get a hit and you think you might be able to beat the throw, or you think that you might be able to stretch it into a double. It's difficult. You know what I'm saying? It's difficult to deny your instinct to run. You know what I'm saying? Here comes the first pitch to Polanco. Fouls it off. 95 mile per hour sinker. Outside. Outside edge. 0-1 count. Here comes the next pitch. 96 on the outside edge. Fouls it off again. 0-2 is the count. It looks like Hunter Brown and Brian Wu both are going after that outside edge a lot so far this game. The only one that's been hit is that one that was low and inside. Hey, Mr. Texas Grass, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Make sure you put a like on the live stream. I'd very much appreciate it. In the dirt on the knuckle curve. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, Michael, I think sweep, 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 sweep. We just have 4 sweeps to end the season, and that'll do, pig, you know? Swing and a miss. Nice. Another knuckle curve in the dirt, but this time he went after it. Strikes him out. 3 Ks for Hunter Brown out of 4 outs. He threw back-to-back knuckle curves in the dirt. Didn't swing at the first one, went after the second one. Text Pat says, let's go Astros. Let's go indeed. Suarez at the plate. 96 on that outside lower edge. Strike 1. Shake says when the Astros bats get hot, they get hot. Yeah, they do. As long as they stay, I mean, once they get hot, they have to establish it, right? 1 or 2 games isn't enough, but once they establish it, it's pretty dangerous. Ooh, low and inside, just below the zone, but called a strike. The umpire liked it. Suarez shakes his head and pops his bubble gum. 0-2 is the count. Yeah, Michael is pointing out something I was thinking about too. Here comes the 0-2 count. In the dirt, did he go? They say he did not. Oh, man, that looked like he went. That looked like a strike 3. The crowd is not liking it. Give us a replay. Yeah, the crowd is really booing that one. Nice curveball. Take a look. Woo, yeah, he went. He absolutely went. He went so far past the plate. Here comes a 1-2. Fouls it off on the right side, a 92 cutter. Count remains 1-2. Michael says Detroit is in collapse mode. I feel for their fans. They were on pace to win 110 for a while there, not now. I don't feel for their fans. Definitely not. I mean, they've had their time. In the dirt, 2-2. Yep, thanks ump indeed. It was a swing. It was obviously a swing. The crowd was right that time. They really booed heavily. Here comes a 2-2. Woo! Strike 3. Got him. Got him looking on the knuckle curve inside. He started to go, but he held back, and he paid the price. That's another strikeout for Mr. Brown. What can Brown do for you? Strike out a lot, not a few. That's what I say. What can Brown do for you? Strike out a lot, not a few. Next batter is Dominic Canzone. Swing and a miss. 97 mile per hour stinker. 0-1. Cold as foam in the dome. Here's the 0-1. That's going to be hit up the middle and down for a single. Myers comes in to grab it. Broken bat single, actually. If he hadn't broken his bat, it probably would have been a line out to Myers. Elevated fastball. Yeah, he hit it off the very end of the bat. Shattered it. Not completely, but you can see the pieces coming off of it. Runner on first with 2 outs. 90 just outside on the slider. Victor Robles at the plate. 1-0 is the count. Text Pat says, ice cold beer here. Why stand in line when you can buy mine? Ice cold beer here. Coldest foam in the dome. Saw a few games in the old dome working the stands as a vendor. Ground ball to Pena. Throws it to Altuve at second base to get the force out, and that's going to be it. 1 hit on the broken bat single up the middle for Hunter. A couple more strikeouts and a ground out. Nothing doing other than the single for the Submariners in the top of the second. The score is still 1-0. 2 hits against us. 0 hits for Jose Altuve. whose number I wear right now, will be up at the plate. Good old number 27 will be up in just a moment, followed by Zach King Cole and Christian Skywalker. So we have our Superman, our King, and our Jedi due up at the plate. That's our starting lineup this inning. Yes, that's true, Michael. We have 0 lobsters. That is true. The Mariners now have 1 lobster. They left 1 on the boat. The boat went down. The Astros sunk their fishing boat, and they lost their catch. Astros, on the other hand, have yet to catch anything, much less have the opportunity to bring them home. Let's turn that around in the second inning. Oh yeah, the logo behind me. I've been changing my logo. I have been meaning to replace my video. I have a video that I play that cycles through a bunch of pictures, but I need to update it. So instead of playing the outdated video, I just select the logo or the image that I want to show for the day, and I put that up on the wall. Today I wanted to go with that one because that's the logo that was around when I was really, really growing up and into the Astros. First pitch is fouled off on the third base side by Altuve. Oh, and 1. Altuve is batting .372 against the Submariners. Can you believe that? .372. That's nuts. That's awesome. Venture Cast's first game was with the Dome, the first Astros game with Nolan Ryan pitching in 86. Altuve loses his helmet, fouling it off on the third base side. What is the deal with some of these guys? You know, Altuve and Jake Myers are the worst when it comes to their helmets coming off. Swing the bat, comes off. Run to first, comes off. Steal second, comes off. Maybe drink some water, comes off. 0-2 count. Here comes the toss from Wu. Check swing on the outside. Oh my gosh! They say he went. That was not a swing. There's no way you can tell me that was a swing. Take a look at this. That was no worse. That was no worse than Suarez's. And they call him out. Espada not happy about that. I agree. 1 down. First base umpire got the money from the Mariners. Cole bunts it on the left side, but he's going to be thrown out easily at first base. That was disappointing. I was expecting Cole to be swinging away. He tried the surprise bunt, but it went right back to the left side of the field. It was easily playable. Bunted too hard. 2 down. Christian Walker comes to the plate. A double and a home run versus Wu. He's batting .500 against Brian Wu in his career. So he can put some thump on this pitcher. Here comes the first pitch. 96, just above the zone, swing and a miss, strike 1. Yeah, our boats are sinking. As soon as we try to take them out, they get sunk. Gilligan's Island. All right, here's the toss. Another one in the same exact spot and the same result. Swing and a miss. 2 fastballs just above the zone. 2 swings and misses by Walker. Come on, Walker. Get with it, bro. He's just going to buzz another one by you. Is he going to go with the slider or the Swiffer? Or is he going to try to buzz it by? Let's see. He tries the same pitch again, but it's too high. Taken for ball 1-2. Yeah, the umpires are, at least the first base umpire, letting us down so far. Here's a pitch. 97 above the zone and a swing and a miss again. So he just pitches the same pitch to Walker over and over again. Fastballs above the zone. Swing and a miss, take, swing and a miss. And Walker strikes out on the same exact pitch 4 straight times. He could have taken all 4 of those for a walk. Isn't it ironic? His name is Walker, and he gets 4 pitches above the zone. He swings at 3 of them to strike out. He could have had a walk. The plate discipline is mostly not there. I mean, with Walker, there was no plate discipline at all right there. That was absolutely terrible. But I see what's going on there. Yeah, doe, not the. I see what you're saying. You're talking about Hunter. I mean, not Hunter. You're talking about Homer. Doe. Careful with the language in the chat, guys. Yeah, Shake. Shake is probably I understand your nerves, your emotions are right there, right on the edge right now. It's early in the game. But it's a big game. It's all good. We're all friends here. So we're all friends here. Thanks for apologizing. Yeah, it was just that's the thing with a text. Whenever you're reading text online, it doesn't always come across exactly the way you meant it. So it's sometimes a little difficult to catch the meaning, right? They are once again reliving past memories. We need new ones in the here and now. You know what I'm saying? Hunter Brown is back on the mound. He is up to 29 pitches. Here is the 30th against J.P. Crawford. 80-mile-per-hour knuckle curve on the outside, ball 1. Todd, I think Walker has more than a 30% strikeout rate. That's hit into right center field. That'll be down for a single. Crawford gets a nice solid single to right field, and he will be a leadoff runner for the Mariners. 3rd hit off of Hunter Brown today. They've got 1 every inning on Brown so far. Up and away on that fastball. That's pretty amazing that he got around on that. Fastball up and away, and he pulled it into right field, right center. That brings up Randy Arozarena. The top of the lineup is back up. He hits that one out to right field. Walker goes over there, but it sails into the crowd. Maybe about 5 rows back. Strike 1. Yeah, Seattle umps. At least the first baseman ump so far. Change his name to Striker. Yeah, I've made that joke before. Christian Striker. There comes the 0-1 pitch. Long delay by Brown. Fouls it off at the plate for strike 2. Nice knuckle curve. Walker made the last out. Says Gregory. Yes, that's correct. Yainer Diaz will be leading it off next inning, followed by Sanchez and Myers. The Astros have gone down in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bottom of the batting order is due up. Here is the 0-2 pitch from Brown. High. 1 ball, 2 strikes. What do we got in the way of views and likes? How much taken and how much given? It's not too bad right now. It's still below 50%. Here's a 1 and 2, low and outside in the dirt. 2 and 2 is the count on the cutter. 175 people watching right now. I do appreciate all of you listening in and watching. It is highly appreciated. Please take a moment to like the live stream. It helps the channel a lot. Arigato. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, did he hold up? Hey, they actually call it a swing. Good job. I guess the first base umpire forgot that the Mariners were at batting, and Rosarina goes down on a check swing. Curveball in the doit. Look at this. Yeah. 5 strikeouts for Hunter Brown. One down, one on first. Here's the toss. Low and outside. Cal Raleigh back at the plate for the Mariners. Here's the next pitch, low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. One down, one on base. 2 balls, no strikes. It's in the top of the third. The Submariners up 1-0 over the Stros. Here's the toss. That's right in there. 97. Fouled back. 2-1 is the count. Thank you, Mr. Notch, for your like and subscription. I appreciate that. Give him the heater. He's been giving them quite a few heaters. Rockies and the Angels tied up. Battle of the Cattle. 83, high and outside, ball 3. It's a hitter's count now for Cal Raleigh with a runner on. Are you talking about game 2 against the Strangers, Albert? I have to kind of guess what you're talking about. Still don't have faith after that? Are you talking about that big lead they had in game 2 against the Strangers where they barely pulled it out? I guess that's what you're talking about. Here's the 3-1. Way high, ball 4. That is Hunter Brown's first walk. Julio Rodriguez, who had a solo homer, comes to the plate with 2 runners on and 1 out. You know what's interesting is that pitch Hunter Brown threw to Julio Rodriguez, in that area of the zone, he's only batting 167 when he swings at pitches in that area. I mean, he got really pretty lucky, actually. Here's the first pitch, low and outside, ball 1. Another ball from Hunter Brown. 42 pitches for Hunter Brown, 27 in the zone. Runners on first and second with 1 out. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Rodriguez. That's hit high in the air. Shallow center field. Myers comes in pretty quick, grabs it. Runners stay at first and second. 2 away. Oh, okay, I see what you're talking about. You're talking about the 10-game lead. Is that right? Didn't the Astros get up by 10 this year? That was the maximum. But just because they lost that lead doesn't mean that that's a reason to give up, because the Astros team that you see on the field right now is not the same team that gave up that lead, and they're not the same team that even got the lead. So they've had various looks and players and results throughout the year. Low and outside, ball one to Josh Naylor, 98-mile-per-hour fastball. Hunter Brown comes in with a little bit more heat, but misses his mark. Here comes the next toss. 97 on the outside, fouled away. 1-1 is the count. Yeah, Wu is a good pitcher, no lie. But he's not unhittable. The Astros can definitely put some runs on him. There are a couple of Astros in the lineup who have good results against Wu and against the Mariners, so they can do it. Just got to stay disciplined. Here comes a 1-1 toss. Swing and a miss. That was a very weak swing by Naylor. He kind of went around slow after that one. He wasn't expecting that. Weak swing. He's like, yeah, he just kind of waited. He waited for a minute. 97 outside, and then at the last moment, he kind of threw the bat out there. Completely missed it, and that's a 1-2 count. Yeah, DeLion points out a nice stat about the Mariners having high strikeout guys. Here's a pitch. Up and in. He takes it for ball two. The count is even. He says the Mariners have 3 guys in the top 10 for most strikeouts hitting. Suarez, Rosarena, and Raleigh. 3rd, 7th, and 10th, respectively. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Naylor. High and outside. Got to make it a little more competitive than that. It's a full count with runners on first and second. Hunter Brown fooling around a little bit too much with Naylor here. We need this out. This is a really big out. Diaz should be going out to the mound, and he is. Good move, Diaz. This is a very big pitch right here. 2 outs. Runners on first and second here in the top of the 3rd. Josh Naylor at the plate. Yeah. I mean, they locked it in against the Rangers, Brendan. So you're right about that, about playing better against good teams and terrible against bad teams. It's been a trend. It's been a trend. Vamos. Here comes the full count. This is bounced right up the middle. Easily played by Pena. And he throws it to Walker at first base to get out number 3. Naylor grounds out with runners on. 2 more lobsters stranded. Hunter Brown gets out of it. Got himself into a little bit of an old-timey jam. But then got himself out of it. So Hunter Brown has had hits or traffic every single inning so far through the first 3 innings. And 1 walk. So a hit in the first, a hit in the second, a hit in the third, 1 solo homer, 1 walk. And he's increased his pitch count up to almost 50. He's at 49 right now in just 3 innings. Wu is at 20. In 2 innings, he's only thrown 20 pitches. He's looking really, really good right now in the way of pitch count. He hasn't given up a single hit. Hasn't given up a walk. The Astros need to be a little bit more patient and swing it what's in the zone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Albert, I believe, yeah, you definitely see it that way, but that's just an opinion. My opinion is a little different because when you look at the facts, the Astros team has changed throughout the year. That's not an opinion. That's just fact, right? Early in the season, they had a lot of injuries to deal with, and throughout the season, we've had consistent injuries. Guys coming in, guys leaving, guys coming in and leaving again, guys coming in, leaving, coming back in, leaving again, coming back, and then leaving again. McCullers, for example. The Astros have been playing musical chairs in the bullpen. We've had well over 30 pitchers this year. We haven't had any real consistency in the lineup. We haven't had any consistency with our defense or offense because of injuries and the list is quite long, the changes that have been made throughout the year. So to compare this current Astros team with the team that started off the season, the team that we had right before the All-Star break, the team right after the All-Star break, and the team that we have right now, I mean, to compare all those as being equal is impossible. You can't say that they're all the same. That's what I'm saying. You can't say that they're all the same team, you know? So 96 mile per hour at the top of the zone, fouled off. First pitch was also at the top of the zone. He laid off, but it was in there for strike one. 0-2 to Diaz. Come on, Diaz. Lock it in. Astros getting into too many 0-2 counts with Wu. He bounces this one to the third base side. That could be, it's going to be foul. Almost a base hit. But once again, almost doesn't count. The count stays 0-2. Well, you know what? There are different levels. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but hope is actually not. I mean, it's better than being negative, but hope is still a negative thing. The reason is because you want something to happen, but you think it might not. That's what hope is. And then you have belief. Belief is a little bit higher. I believe it will happen. But the highest level is to know. You just know. But are your emotions in line with your thinking? That's the question. This one also grounded to third, but a little bit faster. It should be an easy throw to first, and it is, and that's one down. Yainer Diaz sees 4 pitches, all strikes. Doesn't take a single ball. Jesus Sanchez comes to the plate. Let's see what Buddy Sanchi can do. Buddy Sanchi. Here comes the first pitch. 95 at the top of the zone, strike one. Man, if the Astros don't swing, they take a strike. If they do swing, they get a strike. They need to be a little more picky here. Swing at the correct ones. Here's the 0-1. Up and in, ball one. That's a good take. Yeah, don't get off the bandwagon. Stay on it. Yeah, you're right, Michael. The team we had at the All-Star break was actually worse on paper, but yeah, had more chemistry. 95, they say he didn't swing. Little check swing. 2-1. Two balls, one strike, one out. Nobody on. Here's the toss to Sanchi. He goes up the middle, all the way out to center field. It's going to be playable at the wall. He jumps. I don't know why he jumped. I guess he didn't know where the wall was. He makes the catch. Sanchez gives it a ride all the way out close to the wall, caught at the warning track. If he had pulled it, or at least gone opposite field, it would have been out for sure. He went to the deepest part of the park. 2 away, nobody on here in the bottom of the third, and Mr. Baseball himself, Jake Myers, is at the plate. We need a hit, bro. Outside, called a strike? Are you kidding me? That was a good 2 inches out of the zone. Umpire let us down on that one. We need to get one back. 0-1 is the count to Jake the Rake. Here comes the toss. Outside. That was about 5 inches out of the zone. The Astros commentator said, gutsy take. Making fun of the umpire. It's 1-1. Here's the toss. Grounded to third. Might be trouble. He picks it up and throws it over to first. It looks like he's going to be safe. They say he's out. Are you kidding me? He looked safe. That was picked up with the hand by their third baseman. He fired it over to first. Suarez scoops it out of the dirt. Woo, just barely beat him. Okay. Just barely beat him. Kind of surprised they beat Myers with that play. Good play by the third baseman to beat him out. Astros trying to get a hit. Can't buy one right now. Can't even get a guy on base. We are through 3 innings. Not a hit, not a walk. Just a bunch of goose eggs. Brian Wu retires 9 batters in a row. First time through the lineup. And his pitch count is quite low. Current pitch count is at 31. He's averaging basically 10 pitches per inning. Brown is due up in just a moment. Didn't have much of a rest. Brown already at 49 pitches. Top of the 4th. About to begin in just a moment. We are on commercial break. I think I'm going to make myself another cup of coffee. The Lion says, right, bro. I tried explaining the difference between hoping, believing, and just being or doing. Haven't thought about that for a while. I know it's deep stuff, and I would, to be honest, my experience tells me that most people are not able to consider or think about such things. The reason is because we're so busy with our lives, and when you start thinking about deeper things like that, it's so far removed from where most people are, if you really think about it. I mean, if you are established in one location, think about this, okay? Think about it from a practical point of view. I'll try to be brief because I don't want to get too deep into this, but if you think about it, a lot of people will get into a relationship, maybe get married, have some kids, get a house, get a job, get some, they start planting a lot of roots and getting a lot of responsibilities and things attached to them that kind of hold them down. Obligations, you could even say, to people and things and debts, etc., etc., etc. First pitch to Polanco is high and outside for ball 1. But when you get into a situation that has kind of rooted you in one place, the idea of trying to change that becomes very difficult to think about. Swing and a miss. 95 sinker on the outside. 1-1 is the count. So trying to change your thinking over from a state of high negativity to just simply being and believing. Woo! Hey, the Astros got one back. The knuckle curve, at least a couple of inches outside the zone. They called it a strike, so the umpire gives one back to us, thankfully. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count against Polanco. Just don't Polunk him. Astros' first-round pick is talking with the guys in the booth, Xavier Nayans. Looking forward to seeing what he does. Here comes the 1-2 pitch in the dirt. 2-2. But yeah, if you look around you and you see that, yes, I've committed to a lot of things and they could be improved and changed, but you realize it takes a tremendous amount of effort to change that. Most people don't even want to think about it. That's grounded to the first base side. Walker takes it no problem. Steps on the base. Polanco is out. 1 down. Suarez comes up in just a moment. Dana Brown chatting with the first round pick. He's a big dude. When he went out there to take some batting practice, his second swing was an opposite field homer in the Crawford boxes. That's nice to hear. Here's the first pitch to Suarez. Woo! How do you not call that one a strike? 96, just outside the zone. I mean, right on the edge of the zone. He calls strikes 2 or 3 inches out of the zone, but not right on the edge. 1-0 with 1 out. Here comes the toss. A little below the zone. Ball 2. He misses again. The plate umpire needs LASIK surgery. Michael says he ought to be wearing a handicap plaque. 91 low and away on the cutter, fouled off. 2-1 is the count. Umpire might be drinking, Albert. You might be right. He might be drunk. He's drinking. He's kicking back on Grandpa's cough medicine. Here comes the 2-1. Up and in. Swing and a miss. 2-2 is the count. MLB wants the Astros to lose. Yeah, I don't know why, because I think it's good money and good narrative for them. They just have something against the market. They always have something against the Astros organization. The only way that the Astros can win is if they really earn it. They have to really, truly earn it in order to get to the World Series and win it, you know? They don't get the support that the Dodgers get. My gosh, I'm so tired of hearing stuff about Ohtani. Have you guys noticed that if somebody like Christian Javier pitches 5 innings, 5 shutout innings, we think it's wonderful. That's great, right? Oh, that's crushed to left field. That's another homer. On the train tracks, Hunter Brown knew that was gone as soon as it was touched. It's 2-0. Suarez homers. That ball was destroyed all the way up over the train tracks in left field. If Hunter Brown is going to be giving up the solo homers, we can't win this game. Got to get those by. Crowd is completely dead right now. 2-0. 4 hits. 1 hit every single inning for the Mariners. 2 of those solo shots by Rodriguez and Raleigh. I'm sorry, not Raleigh. Suarez. Here comes the next pitch. Dominic Canzone at the plate. He fouls it off on the left side. Strike 1. Yeah, we're going to have some hits. It's as simple as that. We're going to have hits and scoring with runners in scoring position. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, 96 outside. Hunter Brown cannot miss his locations on these batters. Especially with Raleigh, Rodriguez, Suarez. I mean, they got several guys in the lineup capable of hitting homers. But he's got to be careful. Here's the 0-2 pitch. A little low and away, ball 1. 1-2 is the count. Here comes the toss. In the dirt. 2-2. Albert, it's kind of ironic when you say, I've seen enough evidence in this team to know. Well, appearance and reality are 2 different things. So that comment is actually ironic. You're going by an appearance. Here's the pitch. Okay. Albert, you are going in timeout. 2 negative. Astros are down 2-0, and you're already giving up. I can't allow such negativity, so I'm putting you in timeout for 10 minutes. Don't want to see those comments in my chat. Believe or step out. Did that hit him on the feet? Did that hit him? Robles at the plate with 2 outs. Yeah, it did hit him on the feet. I was wondering what was going on there. I couldn't tell if it hit him or not. So Hunter Brown hits Robles on the feet, so we have a base runner with 2 outs. 4 hits, and then 1 hit by pitch. 1 walk, 1 hit by pitch, 4 hits. J.P. Crawford comes to the plate for a second time against Hunter Brown. Here comes the pitch. Fake bunt. And here's the throw to second. Good snatch by Jeremy Pena at second base. He makes the tag to get the out on the steal attempt. That's out number 3. So Diaz goes ahead and shuts it down with a nice throw to second base. Nice scoop out of the dirt by Pena to get the tag on and get Robles at second base, and that's the 3rd out. Nice job eliminating that lobster. Absolutely. Another solo homer. It's 2-0. We are through 4 innings of pitching. Hunter Brown with 4 hits, 1 hit by pitch, and 1 walk. He's given up 2 runs. The Astros haven't started to really wake up yet at the plate. No walks, no hits, no nothing. The good news is we are back to the top of the batting order. So we can start again. Everybody gets a second chance right now, right? Second chances. Everybody gets a second chance. And Pena is about to have his, followed by Carlos Correa and then Isaac Paredes. I'm going to go with a weak cup of coffee. I think I can't take another strong cup of coffee. So I'm just going to go with the weak cup for round 2. Yeah, by the way, for real quick, this channel, this live stream, everything that I'm doing here for this channel is sponsored by myself and all of you. I don't have any paid sponsors right now. It is true that now that I am over 1,000 subscribers, I do have some monetization from YouTube. It's not stellar, and I haven't been paid yet. 96 low and outside on that first pitch to Pena, called a strike on that lower outside corner. So just make sure that at the very least, even if you guys and gals are not able to donate, like the live stream. That's the minimal that you can do, right? Thank you so much for that. 89 low and away. Pena goes after it. Foul tip into the glove of the catcher. 0-2 again. Another 0-2 count. 0-2, what's the result? The score is 2-0. 2-0. Come on, Pena. You're the Flash, baby. You can see that ball in slow motion and crush it. Here comes the toss from Wu. That's in the dirt and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hey, yeah. Marduk says the last 18-year-old high school first-round pick by the Stros was Kyle Tucker in 2015. Here is a 1-2 pitch. He fouls that one off the mitt of Cal Raleigh. Count stays 1-2. Yeah, the game is under control right now. It's not out of control. The Astros just need to stay calm, have some patience at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs. Pena leading it off for the Stros here in the bottom of the 4th. Here comes a 1-2. Deep breath by Wu. Here comes the pitch. Pena taps it to shortstop, and he rushes the first, but that's a quick charge in by J.P. Crawford, and an easy throw to first base to get the out. 1 down. Pena grounds out to start it off, but at least he got the bat on the ball. Carlos Correa comes up in a minute. $2 super chat from Gregory Martinez saying, for 2 runs to tie in this inning. $2 for 2 runs. I think that's a good value, and that's a really good value. Thank you, Gregory. I will send a message to Joe Espada about that. Please relay that via signal to Carlos Correa and the other guys. Check swing. He holds back. I'm surprised they didn't actually call him for a swing on that one. 1-0 is the count. Thank you, Elvis. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I know that for some of you out there tuning in to listen to the games here at my channel with this community, it's the primary way or the only way you can really listen to or experience the game. So I hope I can continue to do that. Oof. 97 outside of the zone, called a strike. 1-1 is the count. You can see right here. Got to watch those pitches. Here comes a 1-1. Low and away. Good take on the slider. Correa didn't even bite on that one. 2-1. If you're working or if you're traveling, if you're driving, if you're outside of the area, if you're not able to watch the game, if it's blacked out, whatever, thank you for being here. Here's the 2-1. That's hit hard to right field, all the way out to the wall. It's off the wall. That's going to be a double for Correa. He's rolling into second base, and he slides in with a double right off the top of the wall. Almost a homer to right center field. He blasted that one. The first hit for the Stros comes with authority from Carlos Correa. Look at that. 97.3 miles an hour. 108 miles an hour off the middle of the fence out there. I thought it was off the top. Just a few feet below the line. Almost a homer. Big first hit for the Stros. Now we have a runner on second base with Isaac Paredes at the plate. All right, big man, let's see what you can do. First pitch on the way. Outside, ball one, 97 mile per hour sinker. Woo trying to get to that outside edge again, but he just threw that one too wide. Yep, let's bring that lob stream. We got one in the boat finally. Finally got one in the trap. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Paredes takes that one. 97 outside on another sinker. 2-0. Yeah, it would have been nice for it to be out of the park, but at least they broke through the ice, you know what I'm saying, in a big way. Crushed the ice there. 2-0 pitch on the way. Whoa. Slider low and outside in the dirt. 3 straight balls. All missing outside to Paredes. Maybe we just shook him up with that. Is that all it takes? I hope so. Sitting here forgetting about my coffee. 3 balls, no strikes to Paredes. Correa on second, 1 out. Here's the toss. Right in there, 98 miles an hour. He was taken all the way. 3-1. 44 pitches now for Brian Wu. 3 balls, 1 strike. Here's the toss. Way outside, ball 4. Paredes does it. 5-pitch walk. Paredes is on. Runners on first and second with Superman Jose Altuve coming to the plate. I'm smelling a 3-2 Astros lead. And the crowd is cheering, giving Jose Altuve that love. They're going to have a meeting. Yep, they're going to come out and have a little chit-chat with Mr. Wu. All of the infielders are in. Hey, this is Altuve. There's nothing we can do. We're about to go down here. What do we... I mean... They're showing which outfielders have a good arm in the outfield. They say Robles and Rodriguez in right and center have pretty good arms, but a Rosarina does not. A Rosarina's in left field. Correa on second base. Paredes on first. 1 out. Jose Altuve at the plate. Seattle holding up the game again. They saw something they didn't like. The crowd booed a little bit. Rightly so. Too much of a delay there. Are we finally going to get a pitch or what? Looks like we're going to get one now. Here's the first toss to Altuve. Low. Good take. 97. Low and inside. Prodigy, thank you so much. Coming in with the $10 super chat. Here comes the toss, the 1-0. 98 on the outside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. That one actually clipped the edge, believe it or not. The count is even. The crowd is chanting Altuve right now. Jose. Here's the 1-1. Check swing on the outside. Did he go? Wow, they say he did not. 2 balls and 1 strike. Thank you so much, Prodigy, for that awesome super chat. $10 for 10 more runs. We should have 12 runs this inning, right? Here's the toss. Grounds it down the third base side, and that broke his bat. He's going to have to swap his stick. The count is 2-2. Thank you, Casey. Great support. Thank you for being here. Let me reload the screen right quick and take a look at our viewers and likes. Altuve's gonna get his bat ready. 200 people listening in, 108 likes. That's good, but we need 150 likes on the live stream. Well, let's get that up to a 75% percentage. Thank you in advance for liking the live stream. Zach King Cole on deck. Altuve at the plate with the 2-2 count. 2 runners on, first and second. Here comes the pitch. Check swing on the outside again. Oh my gosh, they say he went around. That's another strikeout. 50 pitches now for Wu, and that's 2 outs. Yeah, it looks like he went around on that one. Too far. The sweeper got Altuve. He goes down. Zach Cole at the plate, guys. It comes down to the newbie. 2 on, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. 98 inside, strike 1. Shake, your advice to Tuve was the right advice. Don't swing. He could have just stood there. Here comes the 0-1. 97 right in the top of the zone. He fouled it off, but got around a little too late. Fouls it off on the third base side. The count is 0-2. All right. We've got a couple of lobsters on the boat in the trap waiting to come home. Bring them home, Mr. King Cole. Please bring them home. Here's the toss. 97 fouled back again. Got his bat around a little better on that one, but fouled it straight back. Just a little underneath it. Here comes another 0-2 pitch from Wu. 91 right on the outside edge. Swing and a miss. Once again, Wu goes to that outside edge. You know, the Astros should have been expecting it. They should be expecting that outside edge pitch over and over and over and over, but they seem to not be paying attention to it. And he throws it and gets the strikeout. Astros strand runners on base. Multiple lobsters for the Astros that inning. We have 4. We missed opportunities to bring in 2 base runners. We didn't get a single run out of it. One hit. A nice double off the wall by Correa. A walk by Paredes. 1 out. And then the next 2 batters strike out. That's going to be it for that's 4 innings of ball right now. It's 2-0 Submariners going into the top of the 5th. It is what it is. The 4th inning was not the Astros inning. We'll just have to wait and see which inning is going to be the Astros' big scoring inning. The good thing is that that's a big improvement. The Astros had no walks, no hits, nothing through 3 innings. Came back with a nice double. They got a walk. They had opportunities. That's a big improvement. Wu is now up to 54 pitches. So he's basically had to throw an average of 13 per inning now. Now, before, he was only averaging 10 per inning. But he threw so many pitches in the 4th inning that jacked his average up to 13. So he threw a lot that inning. Maybe we helped to tire him out a little bit. We'll see. Hunter Brown, on the other hand, just threw his 68th pitch of the game. And that's a ball 1 to Crawford. Next pitch, outside, ball 2. Thanks, Michael. I keep forgetting to pour it, but now it should be almost ready. I just need another minute or 2. Swing and a miss, 87-mile-per-hour changeup right in there. 2 balls and 1 strike to Crawford. Yeah, the Astros have more opportunities to get runs. We're all good. Swing and a miss. 96-mile-per-hour sinker. 2-2 is the count. Rosarena on deck. Two balls, 2 strikes to Crawford. Here's the toss. Fouls it off. 96 up and out. Count remains 2-2. Thought I was going to have to get a toothpick there for a second. I had a peanut stuck in my teeth. 95 up and out. Full count. Yeah, it makes sense, though, that it is Correa, right, Shake? It would be him to kind of rally the troops a little bit. Here comes the full count pitch. Crawford bounced right back to the mound. It bounces off of Hunter Brown. He has to quickly throw it to Walker. Holy cow, that was a great play. That ball bounced off of Hunter Brown and towards first base. He poured on the diesel, ran over to grab it, quickly switched over to flip it to Walker. Take a look at this close up. That was nice. Man, Hunter Brown threw it right into his glove. He didn't even have to move his glove. I think if he had thrown that ball anywhere but straight towards the glove, he would have fumbled it. Good play. Out number 1. They're checking on him right now since that ball bounced off his leg. I think it bounced off of his calf. They want him to throw a couple of pitches to see how he feels. Carlos Correa came out there and said something to him. You can see it where it hit him. Yeah, right off the left calf. Brown says, I'm good to go. Okay, so we have one down, nobody on for Randy Rosarena, who's 0 for 2 today. Yeah, it's only 2 runs. I mean, come on, 2 runs is nothing. The Astros can they're capable of putting up a lot of runs on the Mariners, so it's not a big deal. Tor says, "Have you been to many Astros games?" Man, I'm in Japan, so I can't go to any Astros games right now. Here's the first pitch. Rosarena taps it on the very first play, back to the mound. Hunter grabs and goes to first base. 1 pitch and 2 outs to Rosarena. Cal Raleigh comes to the plate. Two down. Here comes the toss. 95 at the top of the zone. Should have been a strike. Called ball 1. Umpire missing that one. Yeah, definitely good play, good hustle. Executed perfectly. Here's the toss. Little check swing there. They say he didn't go. I'm not so sure. 2 balls and no strikes. No replay? Okay. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Here's the toss to Raleigh. High and outside. 3-0. Yeah, I agree. It was a strike. The one at the top of the zone should be 2-1 right now. Raleigh calls a timeout, steps out of the box. I think I'm going to need a couple of creamers to make this second cup of coffee taste a little nicer. It's not as fresh as that first cup. 3-0 pitch on the way. High and outside. And he didn't give him anything except for that one ball at the top of the zone. He didn't give him anything that was even close. So Raleigh goes to first base with the second walk of the game for Hunter Brown. Julio Rodriguez at the plate, 1 for 2 today with a homer. 83-mile-per-hour knuckle curve right in there for strike 1. Starting to get a little warm over here. I need a little bit more air. 0-1. Here comes the toss. High. He lays off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Raleigh on first base, 2 outs. Here in the top of the 5th, the Astros down 2-0. Hunter Brown trying to get this third out right here and get us into the bottom of the 5th so we can bat again. Here comes a 1-1. Swing and a miss. Nice slider from inside out. 1-2 is the count. Hey, Shake, to be honest, which sport is not rigged? Some are more than others. The NBA is the worst. NFL is second place, I believe. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Rodriguez is going to jog to first, but Diaz is easily able to throw it. He doesn't run seriously. He just kind of jogs half-heartedly. That's out number 3. Hunter Brown gets out of it despite the walk. We are through 5 innings. 4 hits and 2 runs for the Submariners. No errors. Astros likewise do not have any errors, but they only have 1 hit and have yet to put I was about to say place. I guess you could say that. Place a run on the board. Put any runs on the board. Christian Walker comes to the plate in just a moment. followed by Yainer Diaz and Jesus Sanchez. Walker had the traditional strikeout his last at bat. Let's see if he can turn that around and give us some thump this time. It sure would be nice. Skywalker, Shiner, and then Buddy Sanchez. Yeah, Hunter Brown is a good pitcher. Wish he could get back those 2 solo homers, though. But it is what it is. Otherwise, he's been good enough. We definitely got the players to do it, Shake. We got the players to hit the ball. Let's take another quick look right quick, see how many people we have listening in. I think we have some pretty good numbers, but this is a big game. Despite it being in the middle of the game, the listeners are pretty high. It dropped a little bit from 200. We're down to 177. But we got 113 likes. That's not bad. It would be nice to have that up to 150. If you have not liked the live stream, I appreciate you doing so now. If you're listening in and you haven't subscribed, but you're an Astros fan, please do so. I do the live play-by-plays for all the Astros games, and we'll be doing that all the way through the playoffs, and then starting again next year. So if you are a fan of the Astros or Houston sports, feel free to sub. If you have money to burn, don't bet it. Put it here instead to support the channel. I don't support the betting. That's in there for strike one, 97 mile per hour fastball. 0-1 is the count to Walker. 56th pitch of the game coming from Wu. Here's the toss. Terrible half swing by Walker. Strike 2 on the Swiffer. 0-2 just like that. I really wish Walker would kind of buckle down and look like he was ready. He looked like he was just kind of standing there with the bat on his shoulder, straight-legged. And then the half swing, that wasn't even really a swing. It was like putting the bat out there. Come on, bro, get ready. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 at the top of the zone, 86 mile per hour Swiffer. Walker doesn't like it, but it was a strike, my friend. You got to learn to be better at the plate. A 3-pitch strikeout. Walker has struck out 2 times back to back. He complains to the umpire, but it's all you, bro. You can't let a pitch go when it's right at the top of the zone. It's in there. Diaz at the plate. 97, just above the zone, swing and a miss. 0-1 is the count. Well, he didn't swing at that one, and he should have. So he doesn't swing at everything, but he should have swung at that one. Here comes the 0-1. Open in. Diaz started to go after it, but thankfully thought better of it. 1-1 is the count. Yeah, maybe Walker is called Walker because he does the walkout. I'm not gonna swing, not gonna hit, just gonna walk out. 96 up and out. Luckily called a ball. Just a little out of the zone. 2-1 is the count. Here's the toss. Yainer grounds it to shortstop. He fires it to first, and that will be out number 2. Okay, Albert is obviously too negative for this channel, so bye-bye. I don't shut out opinions. I shut out negative comments. I put Albert in timeout. For those of you who don't know, Albert Dixon in the chat dropped too much negativity, so I put him in timeout for 10 minutes, and he got really upset about that and decided to attack me, so he's removed from the channel. 95 above the zone. Sanchez at the plate. 1 ball, no strikes with 2 outs. Nobody, 2 outs. Nobody on. Here comes the toss. 96 at the top of the zone. One ball, 1 strike. Come on, buddy. Buddy Sanchi. Woo, 96 fouled pretty hard off to the third base side and into the crowd. Elvis, you're right. Just need good quality people. I mean, everybody has the ability to be good quality within themselves. Now, whether they choose to be or not, that's another question. Below the zone, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good take by Sanchez. I'm not so hard up for subscribers that I will tolerate a lot of nonsense in the chat. I mean, if people are willing to say, hey, listen, I went too far, or I was too aggressive, or I was rude, second chance is no problem. High above the zone, another good take. This is a good at-bat so far by Sanchez. He's got the full count. Pitch just below the zone, just above the zone, and Sanchez not going after it. Here comes the 3-2 pitch from Wu. That's hit hard up the middle, all the way out to center field, but it's going to be playable. That's twice that Sanchez has really put the ball on the bat, but just in play. Astros not doing anything through 5 innings. Nothing through 5. Top of the 6th coming up. Hunter Brown with 83 pitches. Only 49 in the zone. That's pretty bad. Pretty bad ratio. That would explain his high pitch count. He does have a couple of walks. A couple of homers. 4 total hits given up. This might be his last inning, depending on how it goes. We'll see. If he keeps his pitch count decent in the 6th, he might be able to stay in for the 7th. But we'll see. He doesn't need to be wearing himself out right now. We will need him later. So he just needs to lock it down in the 6th, and then we'll go from there. Dwayne says, we'll creep back, take the lead, and win in the bottom of the 8th. Yeah, the Astros have been doing pretty well sometimes with getting those late runs. Just start scoring some stuff in the 8th and in the 9th. But it sure would be nice to start rolling some in before that. We don't need many, you know. It's only 2-0. Gregory says tick-tock, but it's not about time, right? It's just about innings. Just about those innings. It's about those outs. As long as you have an extra out, there's always time. But let's just focus on right now. We don't need to be thinking about the future. We just need to be thinking about right now, right? Josh Naylor at the plate. Top of the 6th. It's 2-0 Mariners. Let's shut them down right here, Brown. High and outside on the knuckle curve, ball 1. Let's go. Here's the pitch. That's lined on the left side, and that'll be into left center field. Sanchez cuts it off. Naylor rolls around first base, but he'll go back. It's a leadoff single for the Mariners. Opposite field single by Josh Naylor. Jorge Polanco comes to the plate. That gives us an opportunity for a double play, I think. Polanco with a strikeout and a ground out today. How about a double play ball to go with it? Complete the set. Here's the pitch. 85. Wow. The Astros get one back. That was a couple inches outside the zone, called a strike. It's nice to see that going both ways. 0-1 is the count. 27 steals for Naylor out of 29 attempts. Holy cow. How can he move that fast? Altuve gets it. Fires the second. Pena to first. Safe at first. Not quite in time to get the double play, but Naylor's out at second base. Walker says you might want to check it. So Espada's going to see if they want to challenge. It was close. It was a good catch and relay by Altuve. No, he was safe. He was definitely safe. Easily. Yeah. Espada is not going to challenge it, thankfully. Good call. One down, one runner on first base, 5 hits for the Mariners. Suarez at the plate. Here's the pitch. 96 miles an hour, just outside. That should have been called a strike. If you're going to call the other ones a strike on the outside edge, that one should have been strike, but it's called a ball. Umpire had an opportunity to give us another one back, but he passed. 1-0 is the count to Mr. Suarez. Here comes the toss from Brown. Just a little low, 96. Brown misses the zone by about an inch on 2 straight pitches. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Low and inside, called a strike. Good toss. Just barely got that corner. 2 balls, 1 strike. Suarez wearing earrings like a girl. He's got the high earring. Throw to first base, and he gets back. Polanco at first. That little loop earring at the top of the ear looks like something a girl would wear. Why do guys wear that? It's too feminine. Kind of ironic considering how he has like 47 homers. That's fouled back right in there. 95 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yes, the Texans, the Rangers are playing today. Gregory, I can take a look at that score in just a moment. Here's the toss. This is hit high and out of play. The Strangers are winning 1-0 in the 6th against the Marlins. Right over here. Only 2 hits. I guess they have a homer. Marlins have 5 hits, but no runs yet. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the toss to Suarez. Did he go around? They say he did. All right. Strike out. Nice. Hunter Brown just joined the 200 strikeout club with that one. Congratulations, Hunter Brown. 96, low and outside. Dominic Canzone at the plate with 2 outs, runner on first. 1 ball, no strikes. He gets his 200th strikeout against Eugenio Suarez. That's a nice one to get it on. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Nope, he goes over to first base instead. Polanco is back. Any other interesting games going on right now? The Guardians are beating the Twins 2-0. The Jays are getting destroyed by the Royals. Did you guys see that? Look at this. 10-1. Royals over the Blue Jays. How about that? Low and inside to Canzone. It's 2-0. Take a look at those scores again right quick. Anything else of note? The Mets over the Nationals 9-6 in the 8th. The Red Sox beating the Rays 5-3 in the 8th. Next pitch to Canzone is on the way in just a moment. Here it comes. Just below the zone, 3-0. Come on, Brown, don't lose it here. You got 2 outs. It's 3-0. Yeah, the Rockies beating the Angels 7-6. Here comes the 3-0 pitch from Brown. That's in there, 96 at the top of the zone, 3-1. Thank you so much, Gregory. For Hunter's 200 strikeouts, I'll pass it along to Espada and ask him to let Hunter Brown know as soon as he finishes this inning. I'll get on my direct line and have a little chit-chat with these guys. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. Canzone swings and misses at that 96-mile-per-hour fastball right in there. Full count. Yeah, if you take a look at that at the bottom here, I didn't get to it yet, but yeah, look at that. Braves over the Tigers, 10-1. 10-1. Go Braves. How about that? Full count. Here comes the toss. Come on, Mr. Brown. In the dirt. Did he go? They say he went, and that's a strikeout. How about that? Canzone is upset. He thinks he didn't go. That's 201 strikeouts for Hunter Brown. And that's the end of the inning. A little bit of traffic. Hunter Brown works around it. He gets through 6. Gets us through 6 with 2 runs given up. Let's take a look at his overall stats. 9 strikeouts today from Hunter Brown. He is striking out a lot of these Mariners. 99 pitches for Hunter Brown through 6 innings. 59 in the zone. So basically a 60% strike to ball ratio. Not good. Definitely not a good strike ratio. But somehow he's only got 2 runs on the board. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits given up, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, both homers, both solo homers, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. ERA of 2.3 this game. Brian Wu, on the other hand, so far 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He's only 2 strikeouts behind Hunter Brown, and he hasn't given up anything except for 1 hit and 1 walk. He hasn't given up any runs. So maybe the Astros can light him up in the bottom of the 6th, and Hunter Brown can get himself a win. That'd be nice. We'll see. We'll see. Jake Myers is going to lead it off, followed by Jeremy Pena and Carlos Correa. Lobster count is pretty low, but the Astros haven't had but 2 guys on base. Those 2 guys were stranded twice, so the Astros have 4. They said something happened during warm-ups. Brian Woo's going to be out of the game, guys. During the warm-ups, Brian Wu called out the pitching coach and the manager and had a little talk. And they're going to take him out of the game. Something is wrong with Brian Wu. Not sure what's going on. Interesting. I wonder what's wrong with him. We got another righty on the mound. Bazzaru? Edward Bazzardo. Edward Bazzardo is in the game for the Mariners. Maybe this really is the inning that the Astros light it up. I don't want anybody to get injured, but it makes me wonder about Brian Wu. Is he gone for the rest of the year? Is he hurt? Don't know. We'll find out. Myers at the plate. Here's the first pitch. Little tapper on the right side, and he's going to take it himself. Naylor's able to get the out. Little check swing by Myers. He didn't really mean to go around there, but it turned into a ground out on the first pitch. One down. You know, I'm going to tell Myers, like I used to be told by my coach, swing or don't. You either commit to the swing or you don't. Don't do that. Don't do a half swing. Check swing, fine, but don't tap the ball like that. Here's a pitch to Pena. A little outside, good take. 1 ball, no strikes. Yeah, that's right, Michael. You don't want to see anybody get hurt. I do hope he's okay, but you know, what happens, happens. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's ripped. Wow, down the line, but foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mariners have 10 lobsters today and 2 runs. That's really good in favor of the Astros because they've been able to shut them down when they get guys on base. 97 outside. Ball 2. 2-1 to Pena. Grounded to shortstop, handled by Crawford. He fires it over to first, and it's a bad throw. Pena does not advance, but I think he's going to get second base. It looks like he bounced it into the crowd. Are they going to send him to second base? No, they don't. He stays on first base, but throwing error by Crawford. Bad throw. But the ball went into the crowd. Why didn't they give him second base? Oh, they did. Okay, he went to second. All right. Pena on second base with that throwing error. Crawford threw it in the dirt and it took a big bounce. Naylor couldn't handle it. Goes into the crowd. And just like that, we have a runner in scoring position. Carlos Correa at the plate. Here's the toss. He grounds it down the third base side. Suarez throws it to first and get the out, and that's 2 down. Pena stays on second base. Astros now have 5 lobsters. That is the current lobster count right there. 2 down, runner on second, and Isaac Paredes at the plate. Big opportunity right here. You know, how awesome would it be for Paredes to visit the Crawford boxes today, right now, and tie up this game? Let's reset. We need a reset. Here's the first pitch. Outside, good take, 97 mile per hour. Sinker. 1 ball, no strikes. Yeah, Michael, you and I had the same baseball coaches. That's right. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Right in there. Strike 1. The count's even. You're right, Luke. We definitely need this runner. Gotta have him. Gonna have him. Yeah, we can often depend on J.P. Crawford to make an error, right? He's error prone. The easiest throw he had over to first base from shortstop, and he made a terrible throw. He often does stuff like that. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Paredes. He fouls that one back. Is it going to be out of play? Yes, and that'll be strike 2. 1-2 is the count. Luke says Passan just tweeted about Wu being pulled. Might be a serious injury. Yeah, I mean, if he's obviously not sick, it's not a good sign when a pitcher comes out like that, you know? 1 ball, 2 strikes to Paredes. Here's the toss. Above the zone and called strike 3. Paredes is really ticked off about that. He should be. Joe Spot is angry about that. That was a couple of inches. above the zone. And that's going to be out number 3. Astros ticked off about that terrible call. That was egregious. 2 inches, 2 full inches above the zone, called strike 3. It's like the Astros commentators just said, if anybody knows the zone, it's Isaac Paredes, and Paredes was really upset about that. You can't blame him. You can't blame him. Would we have scored any runs that inning? Well, we'll never know after that call. That's it for the 6th. The Astros get a gift of a runner on second base thanks to a throwing error from J.P. Crawford, but nothing comes of it. And we wind up with a couple more lobsters. So the Astros leave Pena on base. We had 2 opportunities to move him around, and we failed. But to be honest, we can't blame the umpire in these situations. If we go through 6 innings and we just keep pointing the finger at the few times that the umpire called a strike on the outside of the zone or above the zone, if we keep pointing our fingers at that, then we're missing the main problem. The main problem is not the umpire. It's the Astros not having good at-bats, not getting on base. They're just not getting hits. Can't blame that on the umpire. There comes a point where you have to just adapt to the situation, you know? This is Major League Baseball, so coming out and yelling at the umpire is really useless. I mean, if the umpire is calling everything a strike that's outside the zone, that's a little different. You know, obviously a guy like that needs to be reprimanded by the MLB. He needs to be taken out. He needs to lose his job. But a guy who just occasionally calls these pitches outside the zone, 1 or 2 inches outside the zone, you just kind of have to learn to adapt to it and expect it. And then hit the ball. It comes a point where you have to take some responsibility for your at-bats, you know. Aniel De Los Santos is in for Hunter Brown. His day is over. First pitch is right on the outside edge, a slider, strike 1. He's facing Victor Robles. There's the next pitch. That was a little high. Called a strike. Could have been a ball easily. 0-2 is the count. Here comes 0-2 pitch. Low and outside on the slider, 1-2. That's right. Legends is right. JP will make it a phenomenal play and then mess up on a routine play. That's right. He'll dive and make a great catch, and then the next play, he'll have an easy throw to first base and just throw it over his head or in the dirt. That's hit all the way out, and that's going to be another solo homer, 3-0. Aniel De Los Santos gives up a solo homer on the first batter. Victor Robles joins the party, the solo home run party. So the Mariners are owning the game so far just by hitting solo homers. This time, De Los Santos gives it up instead of Hunter Brown. De Los Santos taking up where Hunter Brown left off. Just give up the solo homers. Low and inside, but in the zone. And he just cranks it out off the wall above the Crawford boxes. No outs, 3-0. 6 hits for the Mariners. 96 above the zone to J.P. Crawford. That's right, Legends. The Astros only have 1 hit, so got nobody to be angry with except for yourselves right now. I mean, think about it. The Mariners have put guys on base. They've stranded a lot of runners on base. They've been getting hits and getting some walks and getting some guys on base despite the umpire. And they have 3 runs on the board. What's the Astros' excuse? There's no excuse. Just forget about the umpire and do your thing. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. DeLion. Golly. Reminds me of Gomer Pyle. Well, golly, Sarge. We're down by 3. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. 96 miles an hour at the top of the zone. Good toss. 2-2. It's a 3-run game. The Astros need 2 of these to win the series against the Mariners. But to be honest, they need all 3. But at least 2 of these games to establish a lead over the Mariners. That's hit out in the left field. Another hit. Opposite field single. Crawford is on base for the second time. Nobody out. Randy Arozarena comes to the plate. So we're back to the top of the batting order. Daniel De Los Santos is going to be facing Arozarena, Raleigh, and Rodriguez unless he gets a double play ball. Well, Fear the Beard wants to know why Santos. Who else would you put in there? Hunter Brown was done. He was up to 100 pitches. Who else are you going to bring in the 7th? We don't have a lot of options, you know. Arozarena steps into the batter's box. Craig Kimbrell is warming up in the bullpen for the Stros. Arozarena's 0 for 3. Let's make it 0 for 4. 96 on the upper outer corner, strike 1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Nice. 96 in the top of the zone, swing and a miss. 0-2 is the count. Let's get Arozarena with a good pitch here. Kimbrell warming up out in the bullpen. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. 97 above the zone, fouls it off. Legends, I didn't even know that you're a Mariners fan. You said obviously, but I didn't know. Maybe I missed a comment earlier. But everybody's welcome here. As long as we're respectful, I don't care. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fouled off again. 97 on the outside edge. He's trying to get that last strike, but Arozarena is battling. 4 pitches. 0-2 is the count. Adventure Cast, you're absolutely right. If you only have 1 hit, it doesn't matter who you bring in. Yeah, if you don't hit the ball, if you don't actually get runners on and you don't score. This is a ground ball. Could be a double play. Pena takes it himself, and he gets it. Nice play. Pena could have flipped it to Altuve, but he decided to step on the bag and take it himself. Unassisted double play for the Flash on that bouncer. In your face. 2 outs, nobody on. The bases are clear for Cal Raleigh, who's at the plate. All right, De Los Santos. Let's be focused. 2 walks for Raleigh today and a 4-3 ground out. Here comes the toss. Crushed his bat there. Yeah, a big chunk of it came out. He's going to have to get another one. Yeah. Big piece of it came off. Strike 1. Kudos to Cal Raleigh for quickly getting another bat instead of walking all the way over to the dugout and all the way down to the end of the dugout, strolling around like he's window shopping like some of these batters do. Bat boy quickly grabbed him another one. This is a batter's batter. He wants to hit. Thank you for not slowing the game down like the Texas Strangers. They sure do love to make it excruciatingly slow. 0-1 count with 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the toss. 96 above the zone, 1-1. I appreciate that, Legends. I'm not a Seattle fan, but if Seattle happened to be in the World Series, I can't imagine pulling for an NL team. This is hit way up in the air onto center field. Myers is underneath it, puts it away for out number 3. Raleigh's flies out, so De Los Santos gets it done. Despite the 1-run homer. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse. It's 3-0. 7 hits for the Mariners. 11 left on base guys. They've got 11 lobsters, okay? For those of you who understand what a lobster is, it's different than just stranded runners at the end of an inning. But basically, the Submariners have missed 11 opportunities to bring guys in or move them around once they're on base. The Astros have only missed 6 opportunities because they haven't had many guys on base. They haven't done much at the plate. Got 1 hit, a double by Correa, and we've got a walk by Paredes. That's it. That's all the Astros have done today. Jose Altuve is going to be leading it off for the Stros in the bottom of the 7th. Historically speaking, the 7th inning has been, you could say from the 7th inning on, the Astros have been a really strong team historically. Jose Altuve has been part of that. Zach Cole, who's on deck, and Christian Walker in the hole. These guys have not traditionally been a part of that because they just joined the team this year. But Jose Altuve has. He's over 2 today. But maybe he can kick it off right for the Astros. We'll see. So far today, Altuve has struck out a couple of times, but one of those is not on him. Bad call by the umps. But it is what it is. You still got to work with it. You know what I'm saying? Can't blame the umps. Superman at the plate. I wore my jersey today just for Altuve. I got my Altuve orange on. Let's do it, bro. It's time to get it in gear. Here's the first pitch to Altuve. High inside, ball 1. Yeah, I think the Rangers got some good players. 95 right in there. 1 ball, 1 strike to Altuve. Yeah, Seattle does have a problem in the late part of the season, you know. Choking, especially in the playoffs. Here's the 1-1. Oof, 97 low and outside, but in the corner. Strike 2. Altuve takes 3 pitches in a row. The count's 1-2. Legends, I'm just saying the truth, right? It's just true. Everybody knows it's true. I think especially Seattle fans, but even Astros fans know that. At crunch time, they've broken down. Here's a 1-2. Outside and high. Good take. 2-2. Here comes the pitch. Grounded to shortstop. Crawford is going to make another error. No, he actually makes that throw. No error from Crawford on that play. The throw wasn't perfect, but it got there. 1 down. Zach King Cole comes to the plate. Altuve goes down on a ground out. It is only 1 game, and there's no reason to be down, but it is a big game. 96 swing and a miss by Cole. Man, that 96-mile-per-hour sinker was very, very hittable. Right in there. Let's see if he's ready for it this time. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. He fouls that one back. Same pitch. 96-mile-per-hour stinker. Right in there. 0-2 is the count. I can believe it, Legends. Their politics are horrible. Everyone over there is woke. I absolutely believe it. Almost hit him right there with a pitch low and inside, 97-mile-per-hour stinker. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cole takes a timeout. One out, nobody on. Bottom of the 7th. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Zach Cole. Here comes the pitch from Edward Bizzardo. In the dirt, 2-2. Dale, if you want to come in and put praise on the Mariners, it's fine, but don't be rude. Otherwise, you'll go in timeout. This is hit high in the air. Arena and J-Rod come over and almost run into each other. A little bit of communication issues there, but they put it away. Rodriguez grabs it for out number 2. Cole flies out. That's 2 down. In the 7th, Christian Walker comes up. 2 strikeouts today. Currently batting .233 for the season. Walker has not done for the Astros this year, but they were really hoping for him to do. Here comes the pitch. 82 at the top of the zone. A little high, but the umpire likes those. 0-1 is the count. Here's the pitch. 96. What kind of a swing was that? A 96-mile-per-hour pitch on the outside edge. Walker just kind of throws the bat out there. I think the bat speed there was about 0.08 miles per hour. Strike 2. Come on, Walker. Put the bat on the ball. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Outside. Ball 1. 1-2. Bizzardo missing wide outside on that one. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Outside. 2-2. No, right now, if the Astros win 2 games of this series, they will win the tiebreaker for the season. Another swing and a miss strikeout for Christian Walker. So he's been struck out looking. He's been struck out swinging. He's got 3 strikeouts today. Walker has been trash at the plate. You know, I really, like I've said so many times, and I'll repeat it here, that I've really wanted Walker to be so good. But right now we're in September. It's September 20th. We are in currently the most important series of the year. The last series was very important. The Astros swept it, played phenomenally well, much better than usual. We get into this series, which becomes the most important one of the year so far. And yet, we get this type of performance. Walker's batting average, despite a couple of short streaks, has dropped. His performance over the past few years has not improved. So I had high hopes, and I thought that maybe he could relive the glory of his best years. I mean, his best years were not phenomenal, but I was hoping that he'd be able to do something. And he just has been overall a disappointment. I mean, if you look at the amount of home runs that he has, he's leading the Astros in RBIs. It's kind of like, he doesn't look like he's doing too bad. Well, he's basically played 100% of all the games. He's been one of the, or probably, actually, I'd say that he's the one Astro in the lineup that has played more games than any of the other Astros. So it makes sense that he would have the amount of RBIs that he does. But his strikeout percentage is just absolutely horrible. I mean, in this game, he struck out every single time he's been at the plate. But for the season, it got up to almost 34% at one point. I don't know where it's at right now, but I would guess it's over 30%. Can't be striking out that much. Can't be successful in the major leagues if you just keep striking out like that. I know that the Mariners have some guys that strike out a lot, but when you have 47 home runs, like Suarez, 47, 48 home runs or whatever, you strike out a lot, but at least you're hitting a lot of home runs. Walker is not that guy. Craig Kimbrell is on the mound for the Astros, and he is facing Julio Rodriguez. Here's the first pitch. That's a floater into center field. Pena comes over and grabs it. Altuve called for it at first, but he saw Pena coming over, and then he got out of the way. So Pena basket caught it. One pitch, one out for Kimbrell. That's a big out. Rodriguez goes down. Josh Naylor comes to the plate. One down. Wu is not on the mound right now, Dale. Here's a pitch. 93, up and out. Yeah, he has had enough time. You're right, Elvis. He's had enough time to get his act together. Walker, that is. 94, fouled off. 1 ball, 1 strike to Naylor. Yeah, Jesse, you're right. It's only a 3-run lead. It's not like the Astros can't overcome it. They've overcome much worse. 3 runs is not a big deal. It's easy to have a 3-run inning. They just haven't been doing anything so far. 94, up and out. 2 balls, 1 strike to Naylor. Yeah, Marduk is right. There is no elite team in the MLB this year. It's kind of a toss-up who's going to go to the World Series and win it. Naylor crushes it to right field. That's going to be gone. Another solo home run. 4-0. So now Kimbrell has joined the solo home run club. He gives up 1 to Naylor. De Los Santos has given up a homer. Craig Kimbrell has given up a homer. Hunter Brown gave up 2 homers. Without the homers, the Mariners have nothing in this game. Absolutely crazy. 88-mile-per-hour changeup, flat pitch right in the zone. That one was on Kimbrell. That was a gimme. That was what you call a batting practice pitch right there. 88 miles an hour, flat right in the zone. Jorge Polanco at the plate. The first pitch is low and inside for ball 1. 1 down, 1 ball, no strikes. I appreciate the super chat, but your comment makes no sense. This one's hit into right field. It's just foul. Polanco almost launches another homer. It was barely foul out in right field. Almost 5-0 there. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Mariners do not want to challenge. They see that it was clearly foul. Kimbrell almost gives up back-to-back homers there. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. 85 miles an hour, low and outside on the Swiffer. Strike 2. 1-2 is the count. Bang those trash cans. Bang them, baby. Legends, I'm putting you in timeout for 10 seconds for agreeing with the comment. That's ridiculous. Obviously, the Astros can overcome a 4-run deficit. If we start talking about cheating and banging on cans, you're going to get banned from the channel. I'm serious. I've given you a proper warning. Just be warned. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. 94 up and out. He holds. 2-2 is the count. Yeah, all of that urgency and emotion we saw the other day. Where is it, Patrick? You're right about that. It just seems so flat right now. Fritz. Timer violation. That'll be ball 3. Umpire says, nope, 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 nope. You waited too long. 3-2. Fritz, what kind of information do you have that they don't have on the field that you think that was a fair ball? Fritz knows. The umpires don't know. The Mariners don't know. The Astros don't know. The fans in the stadium, the broadcasters don't know, but Fritz knows. This is a fly ball to Altuve, who makes the catch for out number 2. Well, I think most teams win more games when they have at least one homer, Dale. I don't think that's a Mariners thing. Here's the pitch. Suarez at the plate. That's in there for strike 1. 0-1 is the count. 2 outs, nobody on. The Mariners just nickel and diming the Astros throughout this game. 94 above the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. You're not the only one super chatting. You give me a couple of dollars and you think you're the only one super chatting? I've got a lot more super chats than that from Astros fans. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Thanks for the tip. Bullpen action for the Mariners right now. 94 outside. 2-2 is the count. Marduk is wondering about who the closer will be tonight. Good question. Here's a toss. Yeah, how many runs did we get in 1 inning against the Dodgers? I mean, I know that game we scored a ton the whole game. Scored 18. But how many did we score in 1 inning? Can't remember. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the toss from Kimbrel. That's hit high in the air. Should be easily playable. Myers is over and Cole is over, but Myers takes it, and that's out number 3. Suarez flies out because that's what Suarez does. Surprised he didn't strike out, but it is what it is. Kimbrel gives up a solo homer. He joins the Give Up a Solo Homer Club for the Astros today. He's given up 1. De Los Santos gave up 1. Hunter Brown gave up 2. If not for the long ball, the Mariners would have absolutely nothing. Because if you look at it, they've left 11 guys on base. They've had 11 opportunities to move players around. And they've missed every opportunity. That's no joke. Now think about this. Think about where the game would be without the home runs, because every time the Mariners have put guys on base, they failed to bring them in. 100% of their runners were stranded. 100%. But the Astros, they just haven't been getting guys on base, so they haven't had many opportunities. But the Mariners are trash at moving in their base runners. The only thing that they have to fall back on right now is these solo homers. 8 hits for the Submariners, 1 for the Stros. Let's see if the Astros can kick it into gear now, because we have 2 more innings of ball. Yainer Diaz is due up, followed by Jesus Sanchez and Jake Myers. I don't think that Bizzardo is going to be on the mound for the Mariners. He's at 25 pitches, and they had a couple of guys warming up the bullpen, so we'll see. Rusty Gamer, thank you so much for that super chat. Always positive for the Stros. That's right. I'm going to say Never retreat. Never surrender. Thank you so much, Rusty Gamer, for that awesome super chat. I appreciate that. I haven't heard anything about Wu. If they say anything in the game about Wu's condition, I'll let you know. I don't think we're going to hear anything definitive. I think that would be impossible. There's no way. I mean, they might come back and say that he went out of the game with shoulder discomfort or elbow discomfort, but we're not going to get any kind of real information, about that right now. Matt Brash is in the game for the Submariners. First pitch to Yainer Diaz on the way. He stands there and takes it all the way. Yainer Diaz literally was just standing there. He was not expecting to swing at all. He just stood there. 0-1 is the count. Cesar Rios, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that. Here's the toss. Low and outside on the slider. Yainer swings at that one, so he takes the strike in the zone and then swings at the one low and outside. It's not a good start. 0-2. Here's the toss. Low and outside again. He goes after it. Fouls it off, luckily. I don't know how he got the bat on that one. Arigato gozaimasu. Caesar, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you. Here's a 0-2 pitch to Yainer. That one is way out there in the dirt. I think I would be shocked if even Yainer went after that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Come on, this is where we started. Right here. Give him a shiner, Yainer. Let's show him how to score a lot of runs in 1 inning. He bounces that one to third. It's dropped by Suarez. How about that? Good job on the defense there, sir. Yainer is on first base. He puts a little English on the ball. Suarez can't handle it. Vamos los Astros. Should be charged as an error. I don't think the hop was too difficult to handle. Yeah, he should have handled that. Jesus Sanchez comes to the plate with a runner on. First pitch, high. Good take. Ball 1. Here's the toss. Grounded foul down the first base side. That pitch was low and inside. 1-1 is the count. Brash has been trashed. Well, don't trash your guy. Don't trash your own guy. Don't start making excuses. It's like you're setting him up. Just in case he gives up some runs, you can say, I told you so. Don't be that type of fan. Believe in your guy. Here comes a 1-1 count to Sanchi. Low and inside. Good take. 2-1. Diaz on first. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the toss. Woo! 96 in the bottom of the zone. Strike 2. The count is even. Well, don't. When you have a new pitcher come in for your team, if you automatically say, oh, they're probably going to score against this guy, then it's like you're setting it up just in case. Grounded to third, could be a double play, and it is, despite the bad throw to first base. Opposite field, right to Naylor, who was playing way over in the shortstop spot. 2 down. If Sanchez could have put that one a little further to the left, it would have been a hit through the left side, but unfortunately, it was right to Naylor, an easy play. Gifted a double play. Jake Myers at the plate with 2 outs, nobody on. 96 on the outside edge, strike 1. Whatever. Wow, he didn't call that one a strike. Just above the top of the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. You're still doing exactly what I told you to stop doing. Stop making excuses for your pitchers. It's silly to say, this guy is trash. If the Astros don't score, it's all on them. Well, It's all on them if they don't score no matter who's on the mound. So that comment doesn't really make any sense. But it's like you're setting it up just in case the Astros score some runs. We can say, of course they scored some runs because this guy's no good. It's like you're nervous. It comes off as you being nervous that the Astros might score some runs. Myers has to change his bat out there. The count is 1-2 with 2 outs, nobody on. See, Dell just admitted it. He said, I'm hiding, can hardly face this, can't look away. You just admitted what I just said. Of course, if you're nervous about it, just admit that. Don't try to pretend. This is fouled off down the first base side. Count remains 1-2. If the Astros don't score, they suck. But if they do, we aren't surprised. Okay, so if the Astros don't score at all in one inning, they suck overall. But if they do score, then it's because your pitcher is bad. It's not because the Astros are good or talented or skilled. See, you're making excuses. It's trash. RG, I'm sorry, but I'm putting you in timeout to think about that for about 10 minutes. Because that's nonsense. Can't deal with the nonsense comments. Coping is what you're doing. You're trying to explain and make excuses for something that hasn't even happened yet. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Myers takes that low and outside. 2-2 is the count. I don't have time for nonsense. Jesse thinks the Astros are giving the win to the Submariners. What are you doing? Just hit the ball and get some runs. Base hit! Right on cue. Jesse Myers just decided to follow through and get the hits. Second hit of the game for the Astros. Here in the 8th inning with 2 outs. Nice pitch. Just a little inside, but enough in the zone for Myers to get the bat on it and put it through the center of the field. Right between the shortstop and second baseman. We got a runner on first for Jeremy Pena. How about a Crawford box visit? Pena hits it up the middle. It's going to be an easy bouncer, though. The second baseman, Polanco, is right there. Easy play. Just bounces one time and right into the glove of Polanco. He steps on second base, and that's out. So the Astros get 1 hit and then strand him. That's another lobster for the Stros. Another left on base. 8 total. 11 for the Mariners and 8 for the Astros. But Dale, respect to you for admitting that, you're a little worried. I mean, that's just being honest. Just being honest. I mean, I feel the same way. If the Astros are up over the Mariners 4-0 at this point in the game, of course, I'm happy that they're up. But I wouldn't say that I feel necessarily completely confident about that lead. If it's 10-0, I'd feel better about that. But even when the Astros are up by 5, I know that lead can be eliminated very quickly. We saw it just the other day. The Astros were up big over the Rangers, and the Rangers came back at the end of the game and almost tied it up. So anything can happen. But when somebody starts trying to make excuses in advance and saying that if the Astros get runs, it's because our pitcher sucks. But if the Astros don't get runs, it's because your batters suck. It's kind of like they're already setting up the excuses in advance, just in case things happen. That way, it's always on your team, right? The excuse is always either on a guy that you think is bad, or it's on your team for being bad, right? One way or the other. It couldn't possibly be that the Astros batting suddenly starts hitting and that they actually have skill, Can't admit that. I think people who are going to comment stuff like that in the chat need to really think about what they're saying and be honest. Be good faith and honest. Don't say nonsense in the chat. I don't accept that from Astros fans or other teams fans. So just not going to allow that to continue in the chat. It's just silly. So thank you for being honest. Nick Hernandez is in the game for the Stros. He is facing Dominic Canzone. Swing and a miss, 92 above the zone. I know that I have Nick's picture in here somewhere. Where is it? There it is. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. 93 right in there, strike two. He's ahead in the count, 0-2. Yeah, Cougs is right. Respect for the Mariners and their fans, but it's just one series, one game. That's true. We still have a lot of games left to play. Low and inside, ball one. The game is mostly over. This game is mostly over, and there is not a high probability of the Astros coming back. That's true. But we still have two more games to play and then two more series after this, and so do the Mariners. So season is not over. Far from it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Did he go around? They say he did not, and that'll be ball 2. The count is even. Yeah, complainers will complain. Just believe. Go Stros. I see the thank you, Jesus. A little bit of a relief there. Fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fritz says, am I imagining things? Or did liners up the middle used to be a hit every time? Yeah, they used to be until they started playing the shift defense. They shift way over depending on who's batting. But I remember those days, Fritz. I remember when a hit up the middle was always a hit. Grounders, liners, didn't matter. There was nobody there. But now they play so far over, it's ridiculous. I mean, the third baseman for the Mariners was playing in the shortstop position against Sanchez. Straight in there. Slider slides right in for strike number 3. Canzone goes down, and that's 1 out. Nobody on. Victor Robles comes to the plate. Beautiful pitch. 82-mile-per-hour slider, no doubter. He knew it. Probably not going to get a heck yeah in this chat, Dell, unless it's from one other Submariner fan. Swing and a miss. Nice slider. A slider. Almost said sinker. Slider outside, 0-1. Yeah, I'm sure that those Alvarez flashbacks give you nightmares sometimes. 82, outside edge. 0-2 is the count. Maybe, just maybe, in the bottom of the 9th, somebody like Altuve will be able to come to the plate and give you some more nightmares. We'll see. Here comes 0-2 pitch. He hits that one high in the air. Walker is back. Cole. Walker basket catches it, almost drops it, but he gets it. 2 down. J.P. Crawford comes to the plate. What in the world is that? The Dairy Queen bacon patty melt onion ring? What? I don't even know what was on that. It looked like relish was on there. What kind of monstrosity was that? Here comes the first pitch to Mr. JP. Low and inside on the slider, ball 1. Yeah, I'd like to see a walk-off. How great would that be, Jesse? Do nothing the whole game and then come back and just light it up in the 9th and walk them off? I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. 4-seam fastball. 92. 1-1. Yeah, you're right, Dell. Astros have a history of doing that. Coming back late in the innings. Getting hot. Here comes the toss. 92 right in there on the fastball. Fouls it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, Altuve can't win it. He cannot win it in the 9th because he's batting 3rd, but he could be the 3rd run. You know what I'm saying? He could be. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Hernandez. Nick Hernandez on the mound facing J.P. Crawford with 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. Ooh, almost decided to go. Just a little low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Legends, you're probably right about that. Just throw strikes and let the defense handle it. That's probably the best way to do it because the Astros aren't hitting too many homers right now. Base hit for Crawford right into center field. Nobody there. 6 for 34 against the Astros, but he's got 3 hits tonight, so he's been able to turn around his performance against the Stros. It's funny because he's the 9th guy in the lineup today, batting 9th. He's got 3 hits. Arosarena's batting first. He's over 4 today. He went into a double play, grounded into a double play his last at bat. Here comes the first pitch. He fouls that one off. Strike 1. I sure hope it's a fun series, but the Astros need to make it fun. It's not fun right now. Yeah, KC got it going on today. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's right, Fritz. Nice catch, Walker. Don't ever do it again. This is hit high in the air. Should be playable. Myers is underneath it. And he puts it away for out number 3. Now, check that out. Nick Hernandez has another good outing for the Astros. But the good news is that Hernandez is the first pitcher to come in for the Astros and not give up a solo homer. Good job, Nick Hernandez. You did not give up the solo home run. No earned runs. The only Astro pitcher today to have 0 earned runs on the board. Good for you, sir. He gave up a single, but picked up 3 outs. A nice and quiet top of the 9th for Nick Hernandez. So here's where we stand right now. 2 errors for the Submariners, none for the Astros. 9 hits for the Subs, 2 for the Stros. 4-0 is the score. 4 solo home runs today in the 1st, in the 4th, in the 7th, and the 8th. The Astros have managed just 2 hits, a walk, and that's pretty much it. 1 walk, 2 hits. This is the Astros' last opportunity to do something right here to try to come back and win this game 1. How terrible is it that this is Isaac Paredes' first game back and the Astros are playing like this? I mean, it's like, hey, Isaac's back. Welcome back. We're going to sit on our hands. That's no good. That's not a good strategy. Joe Espada, are you looking forward to the game today? Yeah, we're looking forward. Isaac's back. You know, we're feeling pretty excited. We're revved up. These guys are fired up. We're ready to go. We got Hunter Brown on the mound. You know, we're firing on all cylinders and everybody's excited. You can feel the electricity in the crowd today. Well, what's your plan? What's your game plan? Well, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to have everybody sit. Well, before we sit down, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're going to take our hands like this and we're going to put our hands under our butts or on our butts. And I'm going to have everybody sit on the bench. And so basically our strategy is to sit on our hands today. At least that's what I think will work. You really think that'll work against the Mariners? We're going to give it a try, you know, because we're just mixing it up, you know, just mixing it up, see what happens. Just spitballing, see what sticks to the wall. Andres Munoz is on the mound, rather. First pitch coming to Correa is in there. 83-mile-per-hour slider, strike 1. Andres Munoz. Next pitch, 97 on the outside edge is strike 2. Correa takes 2 strikes in a row. That's exactly how he started the game off. Taking 2 strikes. Kind of fitting that he takes 2 now. You know, I think he did the same thing. That's a ball 1. Very first at bat, Correa took 2 strikes and then took a ball. Let's see if he can crank it here. Come on, Correa. We need you to get on base, buddy, or hit a homer or do something good. That's not what you're supposed to do. Strike on the outside edge. Correa just standing there, but that's on you. That is a strike. That one wasn't even out of the zone. That's not on the umpire. That's on you. 96, right on the outside edge. That's a perfect pitch. What we call a perfectly placed pitch. One down. Don't go down like trash. Go down swinging or something. Isaac Paredes at the plate. Takes that first pitch in the top of the zone. Slider, strike one. It's difficult to work walks when you're taking strikes. You know what I'm saying? You got to swing at those. 97 in the top of the zone, swinging a foul ball. That's an 0-2 count against Paredes. It would not be interesting for them to watch all of the pitches, because if they just stand there and watch him, he's going to be striking them out because he's obviously just throwing it right in the zone. That one's actually a little low and outside, so 1-2. Same exact thing he did to Correa. Put a couple in the zone and then throw one low and outside. Let's see if he puts this one on the edge like he did to Correa. Here's the pitch. It's inside. Paredes goes after and fouls it off down the third baseline. The count remains 1-2. Here comes the toss. Hey, Paredes with a line drive out into left field. It's going to go to the wall. They're gonna take him out, I'm sure, right here. That should have been a double, but Paredes jogs to first base. I'm glad that he didn't hurt himself running there, but Paredes comes through with his first hit. One walk and one hit today. One of Astros' 3 hits. The sinker rips it all the way out to the wall. That would have been a double. But Paredes jogs to first base. Are they not pulling in a pinch runner? Why are they keeping him on base? Espada, what are you doing? Don't leave him on base. Are you giving up on this game? What are you doing? Pull him out. Altuve's at the plate, but they have not put in a pinch runner. 97 right in there for strike one. Why are they not putting in a pinch runner? What are you doing? Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Altuve. Altuve shows bunt, pulls back, and that's ball one. 1-1. RGR? Do you not know that Paredes is injured? RGR doesn't know our players. He says, show some hustle. Are you kidding me? You know that he just came back from a hamstring injury, right? He's not 100%. He's not supposed to hustle. If he hustles, he's going to hurt himself again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, but I wasn't criticizing it. It's because he's injured, bro. I know, Paredes, you don't. This is a fly ball to the shortstop who floats out to get it. Paredes stays on first base. That's 2 away. You didn't offend me. You just said, damn, Paredes, show some hustle. I never said anything about Paredes not hustling. Never said anything, so don't put words in my mouth. I'm not trying to make you look dumb or single you out. I'm just letting you know that you're speaking about something that you don't know anything about. Paredes just came back from a severe hamstring injury. It's his first game back. How are you supporting me? I'm not being offended. I'm saying that don't speak about something that you don't know about. Zach Cole is at the plate with Paredes on first base and 2 outs. Munoz on the mound. Here comes the pitch. 85 right in there. RGR, I don't need anything from you, even super chats, if you're going to say things in the comment section that are not beneficial to the channel and to the community. That's a strike. 0-2 just like that to Zach Cole. It's called bickering, RGR. Don't bicker with me. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss, and that's a strikeout for Cole. And that's going to be it for the Astros in this game. We're going to have to look forward to Game 2 and Game 3 for the Astros, because this game is no good. Yeah, you know, Jesse wants to know, is this Predis just wanting to stay in the field? Look at the Mariners are dancing around the middle of the field like they just won the World Series or something. Kind of ridiculous. 4-0 is the final score. The Astros come up with 3 hits and just 1 walk the whole game. They couldn't do anything. Paredes has the walk and one of the 3 hits, but the rest of the Astros come up with 2 hits only and no runs. They can't get any runs on the board. But yeah, we definitely need to stay positive. No bickering in the chat. If you don't know something for sure, then there's no point in stating it, you know. Yeah, the merry-go-round dance, it's pretty gay. I just have to say it's gay. It just is. But it's okay. There's still 2 more games in the series, and that's all that the Astros really need is to win 2, and they have the opportunity to do that. So let's have a better game tomorrow. There's really not much to say. Normally we do the scoring summary, but the Astros didn't score. There's really not much to look at. Hunter Brown gave up 2 solo homers. De Los Santos gave up a solo homer. And then Kimbrel gave up a solo homer. That's the story of the game right there. 4 solo homers, and that's it. The Astros didn't do anything at the plate. So it was a trash game. After coming off a sweep of the Rangers, the Astros just go back to being the same. You know, the bipolar offense that I've been talking about, they have systems that obviously need to be tweaked. And I was kind of hoping maybe they turned it around after that Game 3. They showed a lot more discipline at the plate despite not having a lot of hits. But today, not only did they not have a lot of hits, they didn't have any discipline at the plate. They played pretty bad. So I'm heavily disappointed to see that they went right back to being bipolar like they were before. So I have to say that the results that the Astros get for Game 2 and Game 3 are just going to be coin tosses. And that's the way it's been for the Astros, coin tosses. Yeah, the merry-go-round is a Seattle thing. Definitely. No, we didn't, Leonard, we didn't lose the tiebreaker. If you're talking about for the season series, if the Astros can win 2 of this series, then we'll win the season series against the Mariners. We have to get both games. We have to get Game 2 and Game 3. So right now we're 1 game down. So if that's what you're talking about, the tiebreaker, yeah, right now the Mariners have 1 more game in the season series. So that means the Astros have to win the next 2 in order to win the tiebreaker. So that's right. Hats off to you, Coog. See you tomorrow. We'll be back for Game 2 tomorrow, and that's what we'll take a quick look at for the Astros. But let's take a really quick look. Let's forget about this just for a moment. Take a look at the scoreboard. You know, look at this. The Rangers and the Marlins are playing right now in the 10th inning. The Marlins just scored a couple of runs. They're up 3-1 in the 10th inning. It's extra innings over the Rangers. The Cardinals are destroying the Brewers 7-1. Let's see here. Giants beating the Dodgers. That's nice. The Braves destroyed the Tigers 10-1. The Reds over the Curbs. That's nice. The A's won over the Pirates. The Orioles beat the Stankies. That's nice. 4-2. That's always nice. Mets over the Nationals. The Rays couldn't pull it out against the Red Sox. 7-11. The Red Sox won that game. Holy cow, the Royals, look at that. 20-1 over the Blue Jays. They absolutely destroyed the Blue Jays 20-1. They had 27 hits. The Blue Jays only had 3. Holy cow. Talk about getting humiliated. Absolutely crazy. Guardians beat the Twins 6-2. Rockies beat the Angels 7-6. But let's take a look at the game information for tomorrow. I think Fromber is scheduled to be on the mound for the Stros. We really need Fromber to have a good day tomorrow, right? If he doesn't have a good day, we're kind of shafted unless the Astros decide to go gangbusters at the plate. Fromber Valdez on the mound against George Kirby. Kirby is a guy that we can get to, but the question is, can we? It's a coin toss. We have just as much chance to get to Kirby, I think, as we do, or as we did to get to Wu. You know, it doesn't really matter who the pitcher is for the Astros. It's a coin toss how they do at the plate right now. But let's hope that they can pull it out. Currently, Seattle has the lead. If you can see over here, let me pull it over so you can see the standings. The Astros are now 1 game back from the Submariners, 84-70. Seattle is 85-69. The Strangers are 5.5 games back, so they are 4.5 back from the Astros. Still comfortable as long as the Astros can win these upcoming games. But tomorrow's game starts a little earlier. For me, it is 8:10 in the morning, so I got to get up at 7 at least to be ready for this game. Game 2 in this series. I'll see you all for that game. That's pretty much it for today. Jesse's right. We need to win the next 2. And the Astros control their destiny. It's mainly their bats. If we can just get some decent outings from Fromber and Alexander, if that's all we can get, just decent outings, and the Astros can actually hit the ball and score our runs, then we'll be okay. But if they don't do that, then there's no chance. We'll see. There's no way to know until it happens. You know, it's MLB baseball. No problem. You guys are welcome. Thank you so much for the support today. Ron, thank you for being here. He says, another great call. Thank you for what you do. Good job not allowing show-killing Karens hijack your hard work. See you tomorrow. You're right. Yeah, I don't do bickering anymore. When I realize that people are starting to bicker with me, then they just have to go. People who are being rude to you guys or to me or just bickering, just causing unnecessary friction. I try to oil it at first as best I can. You know, I try to oil the situation. I will give some people a second chance. Obviously, if somebody comes in here and their first comment is, the Astros are trash, they're nothing but a bunch of cheaters, automatically that person is going to get banned from the channel, because why would I try to even give somebody a second chance if they're immediately going to come in with comments like that? However, when people start to bicker with me, I try to give them an opportunity to see what they're doing. But if they refuse and they decide to double down on pointing fingers at me, well, first of all, it is my channel. I don't have to allow anybody to speak. But I don't want to silence people just for opinions. And I won't do that. I won't silence people just for opinions. But for bickering and arguing or insulting or just being rude, of course I will ban those people. I will give warnings for people who bicker, but I will not ban people immediately. I'll give them an opportunity to apologize and recognize what they're doing, because I'm not into the bickering. Let's see here. The Guardians are not losing right now, Jesse. I think that they are ahead. Let's see. Let's see. Cleveland. Where's Cleveland? Cleveland won 6-2. Guardians won 6-2 over the Twins. Jesse says Fromber needs to control his emotions. Absolutely. Otherwise, he doesn't control his pitches. Yep, they're directly connected. Thank you, Legends. You seem like an okay guy yourself, but hopefully we do not give you 2 more games. Otherwise, best of luck. Jesse, right now it is 12 o'clock. It's 12:03, lunchtime. And you're right. We don't need people, the negative people like that. They need to chill, get their lives together. Yep, the Mariners have won the majority of their last 12 games, the vast majority. So they've been on a hot streak. So, the Astros are still lucky to be in it right now because they've struggled so much. But even with the Mariners winning so many games, we're still kind of neck and neck. So it's a close race right now. Let me take a look at the final numbers today for the viewers and likes. 138 likes. We didn't get to 150, but we were close. Just needed about a dozen more. But that was still pretty good. Not bad today, but I would imagine that it didn't get over 150 simply because of the outcome of the game. If the game had been going better for the Astros, that would have been much higher, probably up to 170 or more. I think that's all that we have for today. It's time for me to go in there and cook myself something. I think I'm going to cook an egg omelet and some sausage and do my best to enjoy the rest of the day. I've got so much stuff to do, but I was so tired yesterday. Even on my day off, I just couldn't really get anything done. Hopefully today will be a complete turnaround. Thank you all for your support today. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscriptions, and especially for those who donated, my super chatters and my donors. Always so thankful for you to support the community, supporting the channel, and making it possible for me to continue to do this on a daily basis. Daryl, you're an awesome person too. Remember to stay up, keep your chin up, always stay positive. But remember, it's very important how you feel is very important. Some people say do some affirmations and try to think positive and say positive things. Those things are good. 100% those things are good. But if you don't feel positive, if you don't feel those things, then that needs to change. That's why earlier somebody talked about basically the way that things appear on the outside. And the idea was that because things appear to be bad, then they are bad, but that's not true. You can accept the appearance or not. You don't have to. That's why when people say, I'm sorry, I just got upset. Well, really what you're saying is that you can't control your emotions. And that's the same for me and everybody. If we allow ourselves to get upset and get angry or yell or start calling names or whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it basically means that we've allowed our emotions to control us. Every one of us has our own ship, okay? And you're the captain of your own ship. You're the only one that can take the helm and steer it. You're the only one. You get to decide whether to put the sails up or whether to take them down. And if there's a storm coming and you know that you can't outrun it, then if you leave the sails up and you don't take control of the wheel and your ship gets tossed around and damaged or maybe even sunk, it's only your fault. You can't blame the storm because the storms are always going to be there. But just because it appears to be a storm that can take your boat down doesn't mean that that's the reality. You can actually choose that reality or not. You can refuse it. You can say, you know what? That's a really big storm. It appears to be a really big storm, but you know what? Let's pull down all the sails. Let's make ourselves as small as possible so that we don't attract all that wind. Let's close up all of our windows. Let's all hunker down, and I will take control of the steering wheel so that I can flow with the storm and with those strong waves and get us through this. You take responsibility, you take control, and then when you make it through to the other side, you can say, I did that. I chose not to get upset. I chose not to become fearful. I chose to believe otherwise. I chose to believe that this storm would not take me down. And it's the same with anything in your life, including the Astros games. You don't have to accept the appearance of what seems to be. You can choose otherwise. Whether the Astros actually make it through the playoffs or not is irrelevant to our lives. It can add joy, but you don't have to allow it to add pain or suffering. That's a choice that we don't have to accept. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I just wanted to share that. I appreciate you. I respect all of you. Thank you for remaining positive. Thank you for supporting the channel again, once again. And let's look forward to game number 2 tomorrow. And hopefully a little joy from the Astros bats, right? We'll see. Big game for Walker tomorrow. Maybe he got all the strikeouts out of his system. And tomorrow he will go gangbusters. 4 for 5 with a couple of homers and maybe 6 or 7 RBIs. We'll see. But anyway, that's it for now. I'll leave you there with a little bit of Geaux Stros and see you tomorrow's. Until then, bye-bye.